something a lot of people don't know. Pokemon actually stands for pocket monsters. So you're literally training up monsters, and monsters, is definitely another definition according to what the Bible defines as demons, is just another way that you could phrase something to be a demonic spirit.
So this is guys like, talking about the cursed objects. I feel like we've done this a few times, but it's just always funny every single time that we do it. So I found this guy. His name's Noah Hines. He's new to me. He's been around a long time. He's got quite a following. So, and he's talking about cursed objects, including Pokemon. So, we're going to get into it. I'm Brentley, and this is the Punk Apostate. Let's go. So like I said, this is his name's Noah Hines, and he's got quite a big following. I don't feel like I've seen this guy. His face looks familiar, but I don't feel like I don't know. I don't feel like I've covered him enough to hold him in my memory. But yeah, so we're gonna get into it. Let's see what he's saying.
But I would be hypocritical to say I never go to Walmart. I would be hypocritical to say that I never go to fast food restaurants or restaurants that have secularist ideologies behind them, right? That's why I'm saying.
Oh, did he just start in the middle of his look? I literally brought it all the way back to the beginning, and he's like, I'm not saying that. It's like halfway through a sentence, and he's just like, but anyway, I'd be a hypocrite if I said I don't go to Walmart because what, man? What are we talking about? Like you're just starting off going, I go to Walmart too. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like it's the first sentence. What, man? What are you talking about?
I'm not going to go through every single specific thing that you do or don't need to get rid of, because when you have discernment, there's a lot of things that are neutral. There's a lot of things that are like a gray area. That's why you don't need me to go through a list of 1,000 different things. You need discernment from Jesus Christ. You need wisdom from Jesus Christ to be able to see.
You don't need a list to get rid of your video is called "Get Rid of These Demonic Objects Now." That literally sounds like you're going to provide a list, man. What do you mean? God, they always do this. So I'm not going to just give you a list and then that's the name of the video. What?
In your specific situation, right? Okay, and this is possibly the most important last point that I wanted to share with you guys. And that is, filter these questions through, does this displease God? You can figure out what's an open door to the enemy when you figure out what is displeasing to God, right?
All right. Hey, everyone. What is happening with this video? This is very just all over the place. Like, I don't know where he clipped this from, but he should have included a little bit of context. I'm just saying, right? Like, not that I can really say much about that sort of thing, except that I do feel like I at least provide a little context before we start, right? Like, just seeing it, what is happening? My goodness. All right, let's see who won. Who won today? And it's Lynn. Got here like right away. How did you got here before I even start? I started at 11:15. This is at 11:09. How is this possible? I don't know how y'all do this. This is impressive. Okay. But first place, second place is Wolfos with a bunch of brains and Pac-Man dots that are then being eaten by a purple or a pink alligator. I have the hardest time looking at these emojis, dude. Like, I don't know. I hope they come up on the screen. Sometimes they don't come up. They just come up as little squares. I hope that's not what's happening here. Let's see. And then Wolfos also said, what happens when you are 12.5% religious? You're 1/8 theist. That is a percentage. I didn't know that you could. I thought it kind of had to be an absolute, or I guess like the spiritual but not religious people could maybe say something like that. Like, I'm sort of religious but not really. There's a percentage there. I'm about 13% religious because I talk about the vibrations being magic and everything, which is kind of like a spiritual world, right? It's sort of like worship anyway. I guess you could say that, but I hope that answers your question. I don't know. That's what you refer to. So our song said, is this about the demon programs that handle background tasks on your computer? I would love to see that one. And the sad thing is, I bet you that's out there. Because they're just going to be like, yeah, well, not only do Ouija boards, hold a bunch, just a fucking football field worth of demons. Also, those pesky little programs that are always running in the background of your computer, those got demons too. Okay, because the programmers work for the Illuminati, and they're lizard people. And you got to put demons and stuff because they're trying to eat monatomic. I don't know, whatever. It's like that's the type of stuff that I could definitely see being out there. So I don't know. Well, let me let this go a little longer, and then I'll get back to more comments.
Everyone, how's it going? It's your brother Noah Hines. I hope that you guys are blessed. And
Okay. So that was like his coming up thing, like what I do, where I just play a clip. That was his coming up. Wow, dude. Okay. Got to get better about that because that stuff just seemed like it was just starting in the middle of a sentence and then just like, okay, what is this? But it's like coming up soon, and usually you put like the most interesting part of the video, and I guess that for them is the most interesting part. But I guess with the guy that's just sort of rambling for what 25 minutes, I guess whatever you can't. What are you gonna pick? I don't know.
in this video, I'm going to be talking about demonic objects and cursed objects. And one of the first things that I want to encourage you guys to do as you listen to this video is to not answer a matter before you hear it. You may be easily triggered by...
Well, how do you do that? Like, how would you even not do what you're telling them not to do? Like, you shouldn't answer before you hear a question. What, man? That's not a thing that's possible. That's, that's like saying, like, make sure to stay on the ground when you're walking places. Don't float off. Just don't float into the sky. Don't do that. Land, just stay on the earth while you're walking. Just make sure you do that. Yeah, because it's not possible otherwise. What? Jesus.
Some of the things that I put on the thumbnail, or they may cause offense within you, if you like to phrase it better that way. But I want to read what Paul...
I like that. Cause offense within you. That's just like, what are you, fucking Yoda? What's happening here? If it causes offense within you,
said in the book of Galatians chapter 4, he said, am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? And I find it very interesting, actually.
Isn't that like the most... Hold on, let me get a better look at that. I just want to
but I want to read what
right
Paul said in the book of Galatians chapter 4. He said,
okay, this is like the most conservative verse I think I've ever seen. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Like, how often do you hear that shit from conservatives? You're like, oh, but the reason that you don't like what I'm saying is because it's the truth, okay? And you know what? The truth hurts, bitch. Okay, so that's why I'm a horrible bigot that's ranking the races, but and whatever, and that's the type of... I'm just saying the truth, okay? Charles Murray said that, whatever, and it's like, no, man, you're not saying the truth. You're just being a terrible, awful fucking person, okay? That's why you're our enemy now, not because of the truth thing. No, that's fine. Like, people say truth things to people all the time. That doesn't make them mad, because it's not the truth.
Then am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? And I find it very interesting, actually, in the very next chapter of Galatians, Paul told the church of Galatia, at least some of them, that they had come under witchcraft, that they had been...
And if you want to come under witchcraft, just go to... Jesus Christ. I don't know what that one was about. Go to adamandeve.com, and then you can come under all the witchcraft that you'd like to at any time. Go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. It's almost like 10 items, and the packaging is discreet. All right, it's too early for an ad break, but that was just too perfect. But also, if you just want to like and subscribe, liking, it's a thumb. So it's like right down. If you look, yeah, go down. Yeah, you see it. There you go. Yeah, no, you got it. Thanks. I appreciate that. It's a big help. But you can also subscribe if this is your first time here too, and watch to the end. I guess I got to start saying that. No, I refuse to do it. Never mind. You don't watch as much as you feel like. Okay, I'm not telling you how much. That's deeply offensive. That's what that stirs up offense in my heart. Is that how he said it earlier? I don't know. But yeah, don't tell me how long to watch a video. But if you could watch it longer, then
subdued by witchcraft. And I see a strong case for a correlation between those two concepts of somebody being under witchcraft and then easily get offended when the truth is preached to them. And
Wow. It's so weird when they use words like this. I sense a strong correlation. I sense a strong case for the correlation between people getting offended and people having demons. Well, isn't that just convenient for you, buddy? Yeah, everybody that gets offended at anything he says has fucking demons, right? That's just a great explanation, right? I bet that makes you feel real good inside your head there. You're like, well, they must have a demon. That's why they don't like what it says. Because I'm just saying the truth. Okay. And you know who doesn't like the truth? Demons. So that's why they're doing that.
especially concerning this topic, people will so passionately hold on to certain idols. People will so passionately hold on to
What's
certain
happening in this life? It's like the computers, look at the computers. It's like stuff on the computer that we're mad about. Is that what's supposed to be happening here? The couple's like, what's on the computer that you're looking at? I don't like it. Must be demons in there.
objects. And a lot of the times, without even examining the origins, without even looking into the origin of where this object, where this certain thing that I possess, where it comes from, and what's
if it comes from communist China, there's some communist demons in there. Probably going to make you like, want the people to have the means of production or something. It's those fucking demons.
actually the origin behind it. So I encourage you to not hold on to tradition as you go through this video. And I believe in Jesus' name that as you watch.
What traditions does he think he's talking about? Like what? Like we traditionally watch, I don't know, The Gate every Halloween, and we will not give that movie up. Okay. He gets like an eyeball on his hand and everything, and then stabs. It's great. It's a great Halloween movie, and we refuse to ever question that. And even if you say that if there's a demon there, I'm going to get mad because that's our ritual that we do. That's how we celebrate.
Watch this video in its entirety, you're going to see clearly that I'm going to articulate a balanced position with regards to this situation. I wanted to read.
I love how they just like use words. Like I am about to articulate a particular kind of truth that is relevant. Like they just try to sound like so smart, and then they go on to saying like how there's invisible, undetectable monsters that live inside the objects that are bad. Like, come on, man! Like using the words like that does not fix any of the stupid that you're trying to not be right now.
You guys, Acts chapter 19, verse 19, it says, many of them which also used curious arts brought their books together and burned them before all men. And they counted the price of them, and it was 50,000 pieces of silver.
Okay, I feel like this is a verse that was used by some very bad people throughout history. I'm just saying.
In our modern currency, that would be thousands upon thousands of dollars. They were willing to burn objects that were not pleasing to the Lord when they were converted here in Acts chapter 19.
I don't think you realize you switched cameras, buddy. We're over here. We're over here. See us over here? Come on. Switch.
We see people getting converted. And what is one of the first things they did? They threw away demonic objects. Now, it says in this passage that it's curious arts. And when you think of curious arts, you might think of like a witch in a black hat and like flying on a broomstick when you hear that word witchcraft or curious arts.
But that's what we're supposed to think of when we think of curious arts. Now, I think of something more along the lines of that movie, Poor Things, which was definitely curious arts, but wonderful. My dad, I really enjoyed it.
But I want you guys to understand that the reality of witchcraft and the many different aspects of witchcraft are much more diverse than what we might first assume. Of course, it obviously includes things that I just mentioned.
A picture of a witch with a pointy hat on a broom. Is that really what you're saying? Like, I mean, of course it includes that. A very curious drawing of a witch with a top hat, a pointy top hat, whatever.
It's definitely not merely limited to that. And one other thing that I
want to figure
say
out there we go. Oh shit, yeah, this is the camera that's on. Better.
Well, too, is some of the objects that you might be concerned about or that I might talk about in this video, they might not cost a lot of monetary money to you like they did to the people here in Acts chapter 9.
A lot of monetary money? Is there a different type of money? Is there I don't know. Maybe it is knowable to say call it monetary money, but I feel like that's wrong. Like that's redundant, right? Like you don't need to anyway.
19, but they might cost a lot in your heart.
Wow.
There might be a big price for you letting go of them, spiritually speaking, in your heart. but not necessarily monetarily speaking. So it doesn't even have to be something that costs a lot of money in order for you having to get rid of it. It could be something very cheap that is an open door to the devil as well, too.
That is an open door to the devil himself as well. All right. We're going to have to get to some comments now because this is it's just his droning. It's amazing to me how some of these channels get so big when they usually just talk in a monotone and do this sound. Like the inflection is so like nothing. Like it's just this monotone fucking just look at you and talk, and like I don't know how people don't just glaze over when it's just he gets to like the 7th paragraph. I'm like, I'm done. Like I can't keep listening to this. This is just, use props or something, do some Lance Wallnow stuff and just start beating a shark in the head with a gavel or something, man. You got to keep our attention. This is getting crazy. All right, here we go. Where are we at? Star Song. What's up, Star Song? Said, is this about the demon program? Oh, that's right. We did that one. And no. Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't watch these at a time. I don't know. I watched like a couple minutes. I heard the Pokemon thing and I was like, we're doing this. We're doing this. I love demon Pokemon stuff. It's just fun. It's just fun stuff. And the Mighty Space Chicken said, hey guys, hey Brentley, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? It's like tuning in from space. I appreciate it. On an egg-shaped planet, I imagine, right? Something like that. Michael said, dang, late again. Well, I'm late, so we're good. And Drazilla, hey, oh, thank you. Congrats on 1K. Appreciate that. Yeah, that was took a minute, but it was that was pretty cool, huh? I'm excited. And I got monetized at the exact same time. So we have super thanks now if you want to do that, or a super sticker. Oh, and a shout out to Logan. I don't know if Logan's here yet, but he did a super thanks, super sticker thing. Like the second I like went, was leaving the show, it was like, okay, we're doing the ending of the show. And so I'm like doing the ending of the show. And then as soon as I click off, then I see it come up with super fat thanks, and then I can't. I'm like, well, it's too late now, man. Why did you? But it was cool. But big thanks to Logan for doing a $9.99 sticker. I really appreciate that. And yeah, if you want to, any type of super chats or anything like that, I will prioritize, and I'll spend a little bit more time responding to, But yeah. So anyway, Star Song's in. Michael Bell just started. Yeah, we're here. Look, you can only tell like down here, right? See, look how little. Actually, that's not actually a good metric, because sometimes, like what happened with Maya, we got like 3 minutes into the video, and I had, we didn't even get to the clip that I pulled out. That usually you get to the clip in the middle, so that we're kind of working towards the thing that I primed you for at the beginning. Didn't even make it to that, but that's all right. So. But typically, if it's just me, we'll say, if it's just me and you see like not, we got a whole lot of gray area going here, you're good. You just made it. Let me see. Wolfos, what's up, dude? Hey, everybody. Remember, cuts are bad. Okay. Oh, cults are bad. Yeah. Unless they're yours, right? Or are you talking for him? Because I agree with you that cults are bad. But the ironic part is I bet this guy would agree with both of us on that, except that he doesn't count his as one. Because that's typically how it goes, right? Let's see here. Star Song said, demons don't reside in your food. Oh, they don't. P.S. I don't believe they exist. Well, I don't either. But I mean, it would be really odd if they were in food, Wonder what kind of like red devil cake. Maybe they would be in that. Deviled eggs. Just saying. Why is the word devil in there? Huh? Should be pickled or something, right? Instead of devil is. What does deviled mean again? Isn't it like pickled? Anyway, doesn't matter. Michael said, what glue has he been sniffing? I don't know, but he kind of has the glue sniffing. There's something about this kind of facial hair, that just screams glue sniffer. I don't know why. I think because, it gets stuck in your mustache all this time, right? So you want to have the masculine, like, hair on the chin there, but you can't have it below your nose, because then it'll get all gluey all the time. Everybody will know, it's just like can't yeah. So I think you're spot on with this guy. Good eye watching out for this dude, because wow. Okay, does he Does he eat pork and shrimp? Those are an abomination according to the Bible. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they conveniently. It's weird when they love to cite like the Old Testament when it comes to like the reasons why they think gay people shouldn't be allowed to do anything or whatever. But they always seem to forget that they like break like 90% of those laws back then. You know, it's just like, but it only counts if it's like the stuff that they just want to count for their justification for hate today. That seems to be how it goes. But yeah, when it comes to eating pork, it's shit. Like some of them do. I'll be honest. Like I've met Christians that are like, oh no, I don't. I follow the Old Testament because Jesus said that this is the old law is still going or whatever. You know, until the heavens and the earth disappear or whatever. That that will be beholden to the old law. So some people I actually have heard of that, but it's not frequent. Lynn said, I like winning. Oh yeah, got to. It's a good feeling winning. And you earned it. You worked hard. You prepared for this moment. And what happened? Look, you made it. On top. Boom. Gold medal. It's just like somebody in the Olympics. It's exactly like somebody in the Olympics. Wolfo said he should have let us know it was a preview before he showed it. I know, right? Like that just felt so fucking just like what the hell? Just out of nowhere, I at least try to introduce it once it plays. Like, okay, this is a clip that's coming up, whatever, I guess I don't say exactly that, but I'm just like, all right, here's what we're gonna cover. But same difference. I don't know why. Like I'm getting defensive now. Hey, look, okay, hey, I do it too, but I do it better though. So you can't help it. Wolfo said, say the end faster, buddy. The end. The end. Well, I don't understand what you want. I don't know what I'm supposed to do there. Hey, Ember, what's up? Is it Demon Day? Granny just did a demon. No, sure. Godless Granny. Okay, just did a demon. And Mark and JL have demon stuff coming up. No shit. Okay. Hell yeah, that's awesome. I'm trying to think with Mark and JL. What's Mark and JL? Am I not? God, I hate abbreviations. I'm just not. Yeah, let me know what that show is because I wanna watch it and I might add it to the list of stuff I promote in each video. You know what I mean? Michael said, speaking of vibrations, if you want vibrations, there you go. And if you want vibrations, just go to adamandeve.com, enter that code word Brentley, and get all the vibrating vibrators that vibrate. Vibrations. Good vibration. But thank you for that plug. I needed another plug within the first 20 minutes. It's like two plugs. Yeah. All right. Wait, where do I go? Oh, there it is. So it's the Star Song said, Punk, you should see Barnabas Nagy talking about demons in the computer. Oh my God. Can you please? Okay. Star Song, are you in the Discord? Because I feel like, I don't know. Yeah, head to the Discord, please. And it should be in one of the most recent video, or I don't know, go back a little ways. And there should be a Discord in there somewhere. And I'm sure that Aunt Jira, if she's watching right now, she can provide one in the links or in the comments here. But yeah, put that in because I want to see that. I want to see that pretty bad. It sounds fucking delightful. Computer demons. I mean, how do you that just sounds fun, right? That's a good day for everybody. Wolfo said, everyone here nice and early, loving it already. Hell yeah. I guess that's what happens when I miss a day, right? Well, I did have one yesterday, but I don't know. I didn't. It was a pre-recorded thing, and it took too long, and then I wasn't able to go live after. And it was just a mess. So I think it's going to end up on Patreon. So I'll do that. Whatever, But it was still pretty good. It just wasn't. I don't know. It's different, and so it's got to go up on Patreon because that's where all the different stuff goes. Anyway, where are we at? Michael said he's seen too much Supernatural. I know. How often is the premise to that show? Like shit that people talk about on these things. You know what I mean? Like it's always like a cursed subject. It almost reminds me of like you watch The Conspiracy People and how often that those same types of beliefs and stuff come up when you're watching X-Files. You know what I mean? Because they utilize all of the same type of stuff. It's just the demony type of stuff, which actually in X-Files, it was more the stuff that Scully would have believed in, because she was like the religious one for whatever reason. Like she was all skeptical of the UFO stuff and stuff like that. But when it came to like angels and demons and religious stuff, she was the believer, and then Mulder was the skeptic. It's kind of funny how that works. But point is, yes, they talk about a lot of the same themes. I think that's where they get their idea for that show, honestly. It's just like, let's go watch the crazy people get scared about stuff. And they're like, we can turn this into a show. Look at that. Because I mean, I've never watched Supernatural, to be honest, but do they have like Ouija board episodes and stuff where someone like brought a Ouija board in and then like demons just start jumping out of it and, you know, like spin kicking everybody and stuff? Like I don't know how it works, but yeah, let me know. I'm saying, wait. So many of these folks start mid-sentence. Do they think that's how you write a book? Write a hook? Oh, a hook. Yeah, so, you know, you just cut that sentence in half and then boom, you got yourself a catchphrase, you know? It's that's how that goes. Mighty Space Chicken said, there's videos on program demons. Jesus, really? By a guy called Barnabas Nagy. Not sure if I spelled right. Proper and carry on. Okay, I'll definitely look into that. I got to try to remember after the stream. So if anybody can remember to put it in the Discord, I'd really appreciate it, because I do want to cover that. I want to try to get back to doing more demon stuff. They're just so funny, you know. Plus it's helpful for a lot of us that had been terrorized by beliefs of demons and just realizing how silly it is, you know. What is it? Oh, morning. Hey, Pragmatic Crystals here. Morning to you. All right, we'll let me mark where I'm at. Then we'll keep going here for a minute.
So if as you're watching this video and I bring up topics, or I have topics in the thumbnail such as Santa Claus or Pokemon or a statue of an angel or some Catholic statue or something of that nature.
Hold on, a statue, a Catholic statue is like that's a religious symbol, and it's like not even a religious symbol. It's like a symbol of the good guys, right? And you can't have that. Santa Claus, he's a fucking saint, man. Like, what do you mean? Like, why? God, it's so weird when it's like, because they're so fucking divisive. They turn their own imagery, as long as it's not their exact interpretation of their exact denomination of their exact whatever, you know, all those things. As long as it's not that, then it's demons. It's full of demons, because, you know, we hate Catholics or whatever the fuck, you know.
Nature. If there's an immense amount of anger and offense that rises up in your heart, you have to ask yourself the question as to why that's the case, especially if you haven't even watched this whole video yet or examined the origins of those things. Because
what would okay, so as long as you have watched the whole video and then like, what does that have to do with anything? It's like, even if you haven't even watched the whole video yet and you feel mad about stuff, you gotta ask yourself, what's that about? You know, demons, probably. You got demons in you. It's the demons in the object that are connected to your brain simultaneously. It's in both. It's in your brain and the object.
Actually, for an example, something a lot of people don't know, Pokemon actually stands for pocket monsters. So you're literally training up monsters.
Yep.
And monsters, you know, is definitely another definition, according to what the Bible defines as demons, is just another way that you could phrase something to be a demonic spirit, a monster, right? But
did that look like a fucking demonic spirit to you guys? Like, and sometimes the demonic spirits are white and purple cats with 3 fingers and purple eyes, you know, and it's obviously a demon. I mean, that's clearly just a broadened definition of demon here. I mean, look at it. What? My goodness.
Anyways, my point in making that statement is that if you are a serious Christian, you should be willing to let go of different things like this. And say to yourself, if it's this.
He's reading, isn't he? Like, that's what the problem is here, huh? He's reading, because he just sounds like his inflection is just all over the place, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Learn, you know. Come on, man.
It's pleasing to the Lord. I don't want it. Even if I don't know the origins, if the Lord is showing me that this is displeasing to him, it's not something that I'm going to hold on to and not have such an intense amount of offense. Now, if you're not, I just want to say, if you're watching this video and you're not a born again Christian, I would
That's us. That's us, y'all. Okay, so let's bunny up here. All right, what?
totally understand where you're coming from. I would totally understand that you don't see how these things could be sin or be an open door to demonic spirits.
Like, I see how stupid it sounds, okay? And it sounds silly, all right? Because this stuff is dumb, all right? But if you're a Christian, it's not dumb because, we kind of just already start from dumbness. And then just tacking on more dumbness isn't that big a deal.
Because the Bible says the natural man does not receive the things of the Spirit of God. They're foolishness to him, right? So these things that I'm going to be talking about, they're actually foolishness to you if you're not born again. So in this video, I'm addressing those of you who are actually born again and following Jesus Christ. And if you're not born again and you're watching this video, definitely get saved. Repent and believe the gospel.
And if you're not a Christian and you're watching this video, seriously become a Christian. Just do it. Like, it's very important.
Gospel of Jesus Christ, that you would become a new person and have newness of life. And when you do that in truth, you will understand more readily what I'm talking about in this video. But
when you just decide that what I say is true, you should just decide that all the claims are true, just basically in one sitting. Just be like, you know what? Every bit of everything that those people believe is 100% accurate. I'm just going to decide that all that stuff's true now. Like, they always do that. When they ask you to believe it, they're like, they act like it's just believing one thing, like, all you got to do is believe that Jesus died, he came back to life, and that's it. Then you're done. You don't have to. It's like, dude, there's a talking donkey in this book. You got to believe, man. Like, not only that, there's a floating sword angel that apparently was made of the sword. There's like angels with eyeballs just all over them, like rings and stuff. You have to believe in all so much stupid shit. It's incredible. The dumb stuff you have to believe, and it just keeps adding up, that they get you to stand up in your chair right then, because whatever you're going through, if you're going through something bad, if you just decide to throw out your brain and say that all this stuff is reasonable to believe, then things will get better for you. So just stand up in your chair right now and accept the Lord Jesus in your heart. Like, not even explaining that they have to believe in fucking talking donkeys and shit,
Going back to what I was saying, recently, for an example, me and my wife were playing a certain board game that I'm still not entirely sure about, but nevertheless.
How much you want to bet it's like Magic? No, you know what? I was going to say it's probably Magic the Gathering. It's checkers. It's probably checkers, I mean, it's like, I don't know, the checkerboard floor. That's what they say the Illuminati uses with the checkerboard floor. So, demons.
My wife brought to me some possible bad origins to this board game that we were playing, and there was another confirmation about it as well too.
Possible bad origins of a board game. Wow. And here we thought that board games were like the one thing that Christians could do, since they're so lame and aren't allowed to do anything ever that's actually fun. And so they got to do the things that most of us do when it's raining outside and we're bored. That's why they call them board games. They spell it wrong. If you look at the way it's bored, no, it's BORED games. Like, that's because you play them when you're bored. Anyway, but they can't even do that now. They can't even do that. Like, I don't know, charades. I don't think we can do that because, that's pretending to be what you are not. You are bearing false witness. Even if it's just to try to get your partner to understand what you're trying to say to them without talking or using words, you are pantomiming things that, it's just not real. That's not you. You are actually those things. You're not actually a cameraman. That bearing false witness. All right. That's
how it could be potentially bad. And I just said, hey, let's play safe instead of sorry. Let's not risk it with regard.
Yeah, so they're not playing sorry. Is that what they're saying? There's a game called Safe instead. Like, we got to throw out sorry and then get the game safe. That's just a fun play on words because of the name of the game.
This board game that we're playing, it's not even worth it. It wasn't like I got all offended and upset or something like.
We could get the room full of demons, okay, just from playing this game. Is that worth it? Is that what you want? You want a poltergeist situation? You want our daughter to get sucked into a TV set, okay, where we can't find her. All we do is hear her voice all around, and we're like, she's in another dimension. You want that because of this game? Well, yeah, it's not worth it. I don't think it's worth it.
That I was just like, okay, if this is displeasing to the Lord, or even if it's potentially an open door, I'm just going to get rid of it because it's not worth risking. I wanted to read to you guys 1 Corinthians chapter 10, I'm going to read out of the NLT starting in verse 19, just so it can really put it into perspective for everyone, because so many people misunderstand this
What's
passage.
NLT? Oh, the New Living Translation? Is that? I thought the Living Translations were like ones that you weren't supposed to use because they're so inconsistent. Did anybody else hear that? Is that a thing? I don't know.
But it says in verse 19, Paul is talking to the church of Corinth. What am I trying to say? Am I saying that food offered to idols has some significance or the idols are real gods? No, not at all. So it's not really about the objects. It's not really about these certain items. It's about what it represents in the spirit realm, right? So if you look at this video, you listen to this video through, your natural man, then it's gonna
If we listen to this video through our natural man, what man? What do you listen through our natural? So what we're gonna watch it through our unnatural man? Like, what do you? I don't understand. I don't know what you're trying to get me to say. Like, I think what he's trying to say is if you listen to this without the understanding of all the spirit nonsense that we believe, then it's gonna sound silly. It's gonna sound silly and kind of dumb. Okay, actually, super dumb. But if you look at it through, the rose-colored shades that demons are everywhere and everything, and God's real and angels and all that stuff, then it makes perfect sense. I think that's what he's saying, but it's kind of,
gonna be hard to understand, like, why are these things bad? But it's the spiritual representation, it's the demonic influence that is behind these different kinds of objects. He goes on to say, I'm saying that these sacrifices are offered to demons, not to God. And I don't want you to participate with demons. You cannot drink from the cup of the Lord and the...
Oh boy, we might have to do this one later. Look, Ray Comfort said, something about his video. Ray Comfort watched his video and I think said something about it because I'm pretty sure that Ray Comfort goes against people that talk about deliverance and stuff, which is kind of funny to me because he tends to believe the dumbest stuff too. So it's weird when they divide over the dumb. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like, no. It's like, oh, you can't believe that items have demons in them. That'd be silly. But
demons too. So that's very interesting. Even if you're ignorant with regards to the idolatry, with regards to cursed objects, it's still representation to demonic spirits. It's still a sacrifice.
It's a representation to demonic spirits. Dude, you're not. You need to. Has he done a cut yet? Is this just like rambling? He hasn't cut anything, I don't think, at all. It's this is great. I mean, see, this is exactly why I don't do these kind of videos, because I would end up sounding a lot worse than this guy if I was just like, all right, I'm going to talk about a thing and then just start rambling on and be like, like breaking it down. Like, it sounds like he's got half a script or something, but he's reading some of it, but then he's not. I don't know. But God, it just goes all over the place. Here we go. Let's see what we got here. Hold on, let me see. Drizilla said, can I get the can I get the witchcraft there too? I don't like where? What in the because of the Adam and Eve stuff, the demons in those kind of items, that's what you're talking about, right? Like the vibrators, there's demons in there, and you can get the witchcraft in there, I'm going to assume that's what you're talking about. So yeah, and I'd imagine too. I just, I hear that just demons just kind of live in those private areas, the privates, and they release every time they get used. I don't. Yeah, that I don't know what you were talking about. Let's see. Michael said, Galatians 4:16, help, I'm being persecuted because no one likes me no one likes me being in their face. Yeah, exactly. That was Galatians. Yeah, Galatians 4:16 was basically like and say, well, you get mad because I tell you the truth. 3 snaps are like that's just like, in the parentheses, a little star next to it, snaps 3 times and like does something with their head. Yeah, definitely, because that's how that verse came off. Let's see here. Spooky said, I sense a disturbance in the force. Oh, well, that what that probably is. Demons. Okay. I mean, all of Star Wars is about demons, controlling everything, all the stuff around you and all the force that controls everything. Those are demons, right? That's why you can't Star Wars if you're a Christian. Okay. Plus, it's sort of all about fascists taking over, like over and over and over and over again, which that's the team they're on. So it kind of works against their belief system, just in general, you know. Let's see. Michael said, "Oh, hey, pragmatic crystal." I'm saying, "Hey, that's right." Fucking demons. I know. It's just everywhere. Always demons, all the time, all over the place. That's what I'm always saying. I mean, the crazy thing is that's literally what we were taught, you know, is that demons were all over the place. I was terrified of demons, you know. I don't know if I don't know if I've told the story in a minute. I used to do methadone. I went to a methadone clinic for the longest time, and I got clean for a bit, and then I messed up. I was still a Christian and everything, so I was trying to go the religious route to get clean. So I was constantly kind of in this like getting super duper duper sick, and then because I would try to quit on my own or with the power of Christ, which is not smart and doesn't work. And so then I would end up having to go back to the methadone clinic because you can't live if you can't sleep for like weeks on end. You know what I mean? Like, how are you supposed to work? How are you supposed anyway? So I constantly go, but I quit the one time, and then the second time I was like, I'm going to, I'm going to go back for a bit, but I hadn't been there in a while. Point is, and so when I was going back, and there was like this big cloud of, I mean, not a cloud, but just like a bunch of like little fluttering things, that looked really creepy, and I was like, those are demons, dude. I was like, I can see it I was like, of course the demons would be around the methadone clinic because demons love addiction, right? And so I remember going back there, and then I don't know, months later, I ended up quitting and deconverting and becoming an atheist and everything. And I went back to drop a friend off. A friend was, going through some stuff, and I was like, dude, you need to just go to the clinic because this is like the only way that you can really snap out of get you away from all those friends and everything, and still be able to wean your way off without being super sick all the time. Anyway, so I go back there to drop them off, and we're like waiting out, and it's like dusk. You got to go super early, if you want to get in. It's like you got to be there at like 5 a.m. if it's your first time. And so, I drop them off, and then the sun starts to come out, and there must be like a cave or something around there, because like we saw all these bats just flying around in this area behind the methadone clinic, and I was like, holy shit, there's my demons. They're the demons I was seeing before. But because of my like Christian mind, that I see like bats, I can barely see them like too at the time because it was dark. But I see bats and I go, that must be demons, because that's just the way your brain works with that sort of thing, right? And then, of course, it ended up not being fucking demons. It was just bats, a thing that does exist demonstratively, because it's always going to be the thing that like we know exists rather than the thing that is, nobody's ever confirmed to exist. What's more likely to believe, right? Anyway, I just think that was just such an interesting thing for me to realize at that time, because it was right after I deconverted, and I still had a lot of these like, is it true? How do I know? How do I know the demons aren't real and all this stuff? Because that shit was really deeply ingrained into me. That demons were all over the place and everything. Let's see. Star Song said, fun fact. You can't access the internet without drivers and the demon program handling the interface. Oh, that's unfortunate, because that just means a whole lot of demons are getting a whole lot of handling, getting a lot of handling from a lot of demons. I don't know. I mean, the handling thing sounds sexual, and so does kind of interface too. I don't know why. I feel like my mind's just in a weird place today. I think I might be this extra horny today. It was this ads. It was the beginning ads for adamandeve.com. Got my engine going. And let's see. Spooky said, thanks, Wolfos. And I'm sure Wolfos said, you're welcome, because that's what good friends do. There's Angier. When I think of curious arts, I think of Salvador Dali. Hey, that's actually solid. We where I live, we have a downtown area, and we actually have a Salvador Dali museum, right? And they do all sorts of these art, like exhibits and stuff. And some of them get really fucking wild. It's Dolly is the north, like that's basically everyone, but they always have like rooms that are other artists as well, but they have like really weird. There was like an interactive maze, like a Dolly, I don't know, some sort of like maze, and there's the melted clocks all over it and stuff. It's really cool. It's a fun place. You should check it out if you're in town, downtown St. Pete. Let's see here. Amber said, "What about Curious George's?" That's what I was thinking of. That he's art and he's curious, and the man has a yellow hat, so that's demons, right? That's I don't know. Why do they always call him that? The man with the yellow hat, like that was all that mattered. Because first of all, he everything he wore was yellow. You could have done the yellow anything. Like you could have been yellow shoes because he had yellow shoes too. Like, but they went with the man with the yellow hat. I don't know. It's kind of weird. And did he always have yellow? He didn't have any other hats. He only wore the one colored hat. I don't know. It's kind of strange. Wolfo said, "I think I'll get about 4 cameras when I stream and randomly change them. Look away every time they switch to eye contact to." Just to be obtuse. I know, right? Like you're always doing that thing like the news does where they switch cameras, but it's always the wrong one. Have you ever seen them mess up on the news when they do that? That shit cracks me up. Like somebody hit the wrong camera and you see them like switched and it's like the back of their head and you're like, hey, they like it's so funny looking. I don't know why news fails fucking crack me up like nothing. I don't know why. It just even just when it's something small, where you'll see the camera like come to them and it'll say some words at the bottom of the screen, and then they'll show the person's face and be like, we actually already talked about that, but now we're going to talk about this other thing, and it's just funny to see them like realize it fucked up in real time. I don't know why. That shit gets me. But yes, that would be really fun. I know. I almost need to get like a behind the head camera. That was actually what I was going to plan to do because I actually don't like it. Took me so long to be able to like show my face because I'm so like glitchy. Glitchy the right word? I don't know. I move a lot. I can't sit still. So I was like, I'm never going to be able to do YouTube because everybody else I see that does YouTube is like anyway. So and they sit perfectly fucking still. I don't know how everybody does this. Have you ever seen Telltale? That guy doesn't move at all. He keeps the microphone in front of his mouth and he somehow keeps his head right behind them. Doesn't move at all. It's so weird. I'm like all over the place. Anyway, my plan was to get a camera in the back corner over here and just show the back of my head, right? And that would be the camera for the day. You know what I mean? Because I was like, how can I not show my face, please? Anyway, I can do that. But yes, that would be really funny though.
Or an idol to demonic spirits. Hence why Paul is bringing this revelation and clearly articulating there could be some people that don't realize that, but yet it's still a sacrifice unto demonic spirits.
Okay, none of that is clearly like they always just, and the Bible is clear. No, the fuck it doesn't matter what it is. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's absolutely not clear. Okay, this is why it's had to be interpreted a million different ways to Sunday. Every single time there's a different denomination. Or a different literal anything, like a different doctrine. Fuck a denomination. You can just have a different doctrine within the same denomination and still have it be just as not clear. And a bunch of people grasping onto stuff they think matters to them, but matters differently to somebody else.
It goes on to say, you cannot eat at the Lord's table and the table of demons too. What, do we dare to rouse the Lord's jealousy?
God, they read this verse so often, which it's just always so weird to me, just thinking that like you're sitting at some kind of table, like this is the visual out you get, right? It's like you can't sit at the table and Jesus is sitting next to you and like, Jesus, you want to go sit over there? Look, those guys look like they're having fun. Okay, come on, Jesus, let's go. No, we're gonna go sit up and then they sit down and Jesus is like, these are demons. You're like, well, they looked like they were having fun. Can we just like hang out? And then Jesus is like, you know what? I'm going to tell the guys to write a Bible verse about this because, you can't have me just sitting down at the table with other demons like this, or with demons. I'm sorry. Because these are my enemies, dude, and you're having me sit down with them. It's weird.
Do you think we are stronger than he is? You say, I am allowed to do anything. So Paul is actually quoting a saying among the people in the church of Corinth. This is a common saying. If you look at the NLT, actually, it's in quotations right here. Paul is telling the Corinthians what they say, right? You say, I am allowed to do anything. And then Paul responds and says, but not everything is good for you. You say, I am allowed to do anything, but not everything is beneficial. Don't be concerned for your own good, but for the good of others. So many people actually quote this passage to.
I wish they would actually live by that, you know. And I remember that was one that I used to have on my fridge that was like given to me from all the addiction programs that I did, all the Christian. But it was like everything is except, or you can do all things, but not everything is beneficial, or something like that. Like all things. What is the word? Now, of course, I'm like blanking on the verse. I read it so many times back in the day because it was just like constant with these, you know. But it's like all things are, you're allowed to do all things, but not all things are beneficial for you, whatever. But yeah, that was like a very popular verse among these addiction programs.
Try to justify worldliness. Many people quote this passage to try to justify things that are sinful and say right here, I'm allowed to do anything, but not as though like, you know, this is all something that Paul is saying. Paul is saying, I'm allowed to do anything. But actually, no, Paul is rebuking this common saying among the church of Corinth. So I just want to give you guys revelation on this chapter as well.
Just want to give you revelation. I'm not as big as the revelator, you know, peace be upon her or whatever. But I'm going to give you this revelation. What do they call it like that? It just sounds so self-aggrandizing when they do this. Like, I'm just going to give you a revelation. Okay. You gotta, you know, my ultimate superpower, spirit discernment is going to teach you a lesson here. So you know, sit down, strap in, and really bunny up, because you're going to need to listen to what I'm about to say here. Jesus, they just, everything is like, I have magic powers, and everything that comes into my brain is special. I'm sure you can learn from it, because that's how just making stuff up works. In your own head, you're just like, oh God. Let's see. Art Bell was a curious fellow who often talked about demons and his radio show, and he passed the show on to George Norrie. Curious Art, Curious George, jokes are funnier when you explain them. They are, you know, it is. That's just a fact, you know. I mean, you have to do it right, but you know, it's just, I mean, just listen to like Norm Macdonald do it, man. You know, it's fun. It's definitely funny once you explain it. But yeah, I remember Art Bell. Art Bell was so he doesn't do it anymore. Art Bell's gone, huh? Okay. Because I heard a lot of people talk about Art Bell, like Coast to Coast and all that. You know, it's like a conspiracy show about aliens and stuff like that. Aliens, ghosts, demons, all that type of out the supernatural, whatever shit, right? It's kind of funny. Let's see. Angier said, the fact that his audio and video aren't synced adds a little, Adds a little je ne sais quoi to the atmosphere. Yeah, I mean, je ne sais quoi. What is je ne sais quoi again? I always forget. It's like and we don't have a word for it in English, as far as I understand. That's why we use that word. It's like deja vu. We don't have a deja vu word, you know. Just French people have extra words, you know, which is kind of strange. But isn't it like a certain quality that makes them more appealing? Is it more appealing? I can't remember. Or is it more off-putting? It's one of the two. It's either it's a quality that makes them more appealing or more off-putting. I can't remember which. Let me see. Oh, here's Wolfos responding. Antier, that seems like an awesome place to stream from. It wouldn't cause havoc on the electronics. What was? Oh, is he in a sauna? Oh shit, he does look like he's in a sauna. It's one of those like those wood rooms where all the steam's the sauna. Yeah, that's what they're called. I don't know why. Yeah, do they always look like that, or do they look like giant showers at times? Because I feel like I've only seen them in movies, and I've only ever seen the wood kind of movies. So dead on. But he's probably in a cabin in the woods, reporting off grid. You know, other than the hotspot on his phone that he clearly uses up quite a bit. You know, he runs up that hotspot bill, you know, because that's how these people are. They go live from the bunker, you know. with beans. They just have a ton of beans, and they're like, hey, if the world ever ends, I'll have enough beans to survive for 7 years. It's going to be terrible down there, though. Talk about the gas. It's bad. It's bad. The fact. Oh, there we go. I already did that. I know, right? See the bean thing. I know. That's funny. Those types of jokes just always get me. It's just anyway. Michael said, "Oh my God, some Southerners now call deviled eggs heavenly eggs." That was Church Lady's idea. That the fictional character from SNL in the 90s has come to life and created their own religion. And that's about where we're at here. My God. Star Song said, Bucket Pie State deviled eggs are hard-boiled eggs. Okay. They're hard-boiled. The yolks are mashed up with mayonnaise. Oh, okay. And paprika. Okay. Plus a couple of other things. Then put back on the sliced eggs. Don't know the exact recipe. Okay, so there's no pickling involved there. That's just, I don't know why. I guess those would be pickled eggs. I don't know why I was mixing those up. I guess I thought they were the same thing. I mean, how much shit can you really do to eggs? And the answer is a lot. If you ever been to a breakfast place, you know how long it takes them to like list all the things you can do with one egg. Takes a while. Anyway, Wolfo said, say the end of the joke from the beginning. I sent you. What? Never mind. Religious jokes are bad anyway. What? Shit. What joke is it? Oh man, I'm gonna have to go back and check. Let's see. Oh, okay. Mark. I know Mark Reed. They do like evolution type stuff. I feel like I was on a show with him briefly. With with Bree. Yeah, I was on a show with Mark briefly. We hung out for a few minutes, and then I think something happened with the connection or whatever. He like lost internet, and so it sucked. But it was cool to meet him. Okay, oh, there you go. There's his channel. Yeah, I think that was Mark Reed. I'm gonna have to check with Bree from the Hive Side channel. Ember said Mark is Mark Reed Atheism and JL. What? Bridge the Divide. JL Warren. I don't know that one. Huh. All right, I'm gonna have to remember that. If at all possible, Ember, could you maybe message me that? The second one. I have Mark Reed, but the JL Warren one, we could do that because I want to add that to the list at the end of in my show notes and everything, right? Let's see here. Michael said mashed up with mayonnaise, paprika, plus a couple of other things. I use a touch of mustard. Yeah, I was going to say that too because I was like, I feel like I always taste mustard in there as well. But god damn, I do love deviled egg. It's like I always would get in trouble as a kid because like you'd have like the cookout or whatever, and I'd always just go stand over by the deviled eggs and just eat all those things, and they'd all get back like, where'd all the deviled eggs go? They were just right here, and I'm just like, that's all I ate the whole day. Fuck the hot dogs and hamburgers and all that shit. No, I'm eating deviled eggs until the moment I go home, and I literally was. I'd be playing. I had like, yellow shit all over my face. Like that's where all the eggs went. All right, here we go. Okay, JL Warren is YouTube. I'm going to add JL Warren. Okay, so at JL Warren. Got it. Cool. That helps. Let's see here. Oh, and here's the Discord too. My typing is much slow. Is much slow. I mean, if you're phrasing things like that, I think you're probably trying to go too fast. Actually, because you need to slow down. I mean, if this is what you're coming up with, Ember, I think you need to slow it down. It's okay. It's okay. People can wait a couple seconds. You need to type it out right. Okay, it's fine. Here's the Discord. Thank you, AJ. I appreciate that. Let's see what else we need. Yeah, you want to do a news fail? Let's do a news fail in there, just so we can just have a link to just everything that we talk about here. Let's see. D said, Ghost in the Shell stuff, but where is Alita Battle Angel 2? Oh God, that movie was rough, huh? Man, I was so disappointed too because Robert Rodriguez is probably up with like my favorite director. Like, I don't think there's much they've directed that I don't like. My favorite was when two of my favorites were mixed together in The Faculty, because Kevin Williamson, that wrote Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, he wrote The Faculty, and then Robert Rodriguez directed it. That's insane. That's pretty incredible, right? That's a crazy combo. You wouldn't have ever have expected that shit, but it was phenomenal. Go watch The Faculty. Can we get a link to The Faculty? Andrew, just kidding. Don't. But yes, Alita Battle Angel was, I'm sorry, very disappointing. But the effects were really cool looking, you know. It was just, the plot was just, I don't know, the pacing, I don't know, something was off. Something was weird about it. I didn't like it. I was really mad. Star Song said, Doctor Who, The Weeping Angels. That's so funny you bring that one up. That's the only character. That's like one of the only episodes I've ever watched of Doctor Who, and I really liked it. It's kind of making me want to have to go back and watch that now, because that was a fun. The way you can't look at them, if they're like the boos in Mario. Like if you look at them, they got to stop or whatever. But if you don't look at them, or if you blink, even they'll just get closer and closer. It's pretty terrifying, you know. So she's just sitting there like trying to like not. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed that episode. Michael said, the Baptists say that they were founded by John the Baptist, not Catholics, because they are going to hell. Wait, so okay, the Baptists say they were founded by John the Baptist. That's what Baptists say, that John the Baptist was the person who started their thing, but not Catholics because they are going to hell. Who's really? I thought, and it's weird he's talking about John the Baptist. I heard that he was like of a completely different like type of religion. Like it was just a whole different cult back then that he was, you know, that he was known for, but it had nothing, as far as I understand, to do with like Christianity or any of that stuff. But when they were writing the Gospels, they wanted to give credibility to Jesus. And since he was like this popular person in that time and place with you know, a lot of followers and everything, they thought that it would give it the story more credence if they had a part of the story where even John the Baptist is like, whoa, this dude's amazing, you know. But he was like a completely different thing, as far as I understand. I might be misremembering this, but let me know if anybody else knows what I'm talking about. And yeah, see, that is pretty funny. Like Michael's always laughing at the right stuff. You know what I mean? That was because it's funny that he's not even that, you know, he's not even in part of the Christian like worldview or anything, but they just used him as some kind of cult leader just to give credence to the. Anyway, it's hilarious. It's just so funny. Star Song said, they hate Baphomet and they don't even know what it represents. What does it represent? Like, I don't know. I mean, those eyes, you know, the goat eyes freak me out. So I don't, you know, it might just be that, you know, just the fact that goat eyes look insane, right? And I don't like it. But what does he stand? What does he represent? I'm not not really familiar with Baphomet that well, other than it really freaks out fundies. You know, that's like, if you want to freak out a fundie pretty quick, just pop up a picture of that shit and be like, look at it on your phone. Nobody like, I'll run away, you know, run away real fast. I'll be tripping and falling too. It's so funny, you know. Lofo said, I love demon art hiding in the everyday things, like handmade cactus statues, graffiti of the nativity set in a train tunnel. You know, stuff that makes me think of demonic. Demonic. I can't say that word. I feel like you left out a vowel or something. Something's going on there. Let's see here. Ember said, Brinley has never met a cat demon or a demon cat. Though those are two different. Those are independent from one another. Okay, I feel like they could just easily be the same. Anyway, a demon cat or a cat demon. No, I didn't know that. I always thought that was like Egyptian, right? That was an Egyptian thing. Am I wrong about that? That's can't be. Holy show! Who is this person? Wow. Like, am I reading that right? That can't be right. That's way too much. Wow. I don't know. Oh, is it not? Because it's not, I have no idea. Wow. Thank you so much. Let's see. Do you agree? So Satyam. Okay. Said, do you agree that cosmic observer theory derived from double slit experiment is similar to God concept. As far as I understand, and I'm not an expert on this sort of thing, but Ember and I actually were talking about this on a different stream, and it was the observer effect was what they coined it because when they observed it, like they used this type of uh, device that observes the phenomenon that you're talking about. They used some type of device, and it had like a magnetic thing inside of it, and so that was what was affecting the experiments or whatever, and that's what they ended up calling the observer effect. But it didn't have anything to do with like us humans watching the thing. It didn't necessarily mean that any conscious mind was actually looking at it. It was just the way that the device picked up certain things. Again, I'm not an expert on this type of stuff, but and I went down quite the rabbit hole one time and basically saw that the observer effect does not mean that. Like, it doesn't mean that you have to. Oh, it has to. It can tell when a thinking brain is watching it, which is what it sounded like when I would read certain articles and stuff. But you do more like research on it. That's not what it meant at all. It was just the way certain things affect other things that were being observed. None of it was a conscious brain. But I could, again, this is not not my area of expertise, seeing as how I don't have one. I don't have one of those areas of I like jokes. I feel like that's probably the closest I can get to expertise. Impressions. I don't know. But thank you so much. That was awesome. But yeah, I'm actually gonna do a little bit more research, and I will get back to you on that on a future stream. Maybe we'll have Ember back, and we'll discuss it in more detail. But we did talk about that. I can't remember if it was on her show or if it was on mine. Ember, do you let me know, Ember, if you remember us talking about that, and if it is even the same thing? Because they're saying the observer theory, is that different than the observer effect? Because it's I'm not Shannon Q. I don't know about literally everything. That's just all the time, no matter what it is, no matter how unrelated it seems to literally anything. And she just knows about all of it all the time, at any moment, anywhere at all, ever. So I don't know how she does that, but I don't do that. So, but thank you so much for the super chat. That was super awesome. Really appreciate it. Star Song said, even when I was a Baptist, I didn't believe the denomination was founded by John the Baptist. I was gonna say I don't remember. I'm sorry. I wasn't a Baptist. I was non-denominational, fundamentalist Christian. But I do not remember anybody saying anything about it being founded by John the Baptist. But again, I could, I just might not be remembering it right or something. I don't know. It's been a minute. Michael said, "Oh my God, am I the only one who remembers when the Procter Gable insignia was demonic?" What? What is Procter and Gable? I've heard that, and I'm like blanking on what that is. Procter and Gable. Why do I know that phrase? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna. I don't know. I'm stuck now. It just sounds like it's a proctologist, and it's got sort of a problem with taking bets. Okay, that's what that sounds like to me. It's a proctologist. He's got trouble. He just can't stay out of the Hard Rock casino, and he's got a problem. And but I know that's not what it actually means, but that's where my mind goes. Top testers here, not the mid-level, not the low-level tester. We got the top one. Okay. That's how this goes. My shoe has a demon living in it. And every few steps, it slightly pokes the side of my foot. But that sucks. That sounds like a splinter, actually, or just a very bad pair of shoes. It's probably like something you got at like Shoe Carnival or something. You know what I mean? Remember that place, Shoe Carnival, or Payless? What about Payless? Do they still make those? I don't know. Carnival's probably normal. I don't know. I don't remember the last time I went shoe shopping. I don't know. Is it Wolfo said 200 what? I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't recognize that. I'm gonna have to like go check the exchange rate because I don't. I've never seen that before. It's still much appreciated. 200, if anything, I think is probably pretty cool. Or rupees. I don't know. Yeah. That was cool. That's fascinating. Michael said, I study both. It helps me become an atheist. Wait, Proctor. Wait, Procter and Gamble. Yeah, I don't remember what that is. Let's see here. Wait. Oh, hold on. Let me do this. Andrew, I've never seen the currency symbol before. It looks cooler than it definitely looked cooler. I will give it that. Other than that, I have no idea what it is. Is this another one? What? Let's see. Right below Emmer, I said, cosmic observer theory is the new age idea that there must be a God-sized observer making reality be real. Technically, the idea is similar to some other God concepts. Okay, so but it's just like a very vague observer God. Is that like one of those? Like I can't remember what it was. It was on like one of the call-in shows, and they were basically saying that God, like the reason that they think a God has to exist, this was the argument, was that it requires a conscious mind. If there is an infinite number or amount of information, and there are certain information that is selected for, right? So like the way gravity works, the way like everything, that's all information that was selected for. And so that means there had to be a God, because out of infinite ways things could happen, it happened that way, therefore God. It almost sounds like something like that, but I don't know exactly. Let's see. Oh, and we got another one. Hey, what's up? All right, got us another one. Consciousness of observer change, wave into particle in double slit experiment. Then at time of Big Bang, there is a need of cosmic observer to collapse a wave into particles. This is similar to God. Okay, I don't know much about that, but I think a lot of times what ends up happening is we're kind of defining God, like this has to be a God because of a particular effect that you're talking about, when as far as I understood, it doesn't have anything to do with God. We're just like looking at something the way that it functions naturally and going, I don't understand how that could work, therefore God. It seems like it's just as part of the in a argument from ignorance kind of mentality, or since we can't figure out exactly why this works the way it works, therefore magic, and that's just not a good way to think about things. You know what I mean? But I mean, I think we should look more into it, whatever it is specifically. I'm not sure, but it seems like Ember might know. I think she's really good about that type of stuff. But I'll have to check more into that. But I don't think that it means there's a God, obviously, or if there is, if you are calling it a God, it's like one of those things where the definition is so vague for the word God that it kind of becomes meaningless, because that's not what anybody means when they talk about God. They're talking about something that influences reality on a regular basis, has things that it wants, has can do magical abilities, can bend the laws of science, physics, whatever, and then interacts with people through prayer and gives revelation. Like all those things are aspects that people tend to attribute to a God, and what you're describing here does not sound like any of those things. So it's almost like you've broadened it, so the definition is so broad that you've minimized the what's it called, utility down to like zero. You know what I mean? One of those things. But thank you so much for the 200. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Really, really appreciate it. I don't know what it's 200 of what, but either way, it's not something that's a big deal. That means a lot. So thank you. Let's see. Star Song said, last name is Gable. Oh, Gable, not Gamble. Okay. Well, it's derived from the German word or what? The German word for fork. Oh, okay. So it's like somebody having the last name Fork. I'm Benny Fork. That's right. You just don't give a fork. Oh, there's that gentle comedy,
This is one of the number one passages that people take out of context to actually try to justify sin. They use the same argument unknowingly, not knowing what's going on in this passage. They use the same argument that the people of the Church of Corinth were using to try to justify sin. They use it as well too to try to justify sin many times. And I find this very interesting.
I feel like there was a blip there. I feel like that's the first blip I've noticed. And it seemed like you could just see it in his face that he got lost. He's like, then they do justify it through sin. What were we? Anyway, hold on. Let me see it again.
That the people of the Church of Corinth were using to try to justify sin. They use it as well too to try to justify sin many times. And I find this very interesting. This is in the same passage. Remember what we just read about idolatry and demonic spirits being attached to idolatry? Right after Paul,
idolatry and the demonic spirits are attached to idolatry. Like, and that idolatry, it's it raises its ugly head. In idolatry, that happens.
Paul talks about that. He goes on to rebuke them for this common saying that they're saying that they're allowed to do anything. And at the end here, he says, don't be concerned for your own good, but for the good of others. So are there certain objects that you can have where you're not
he forgot which camera he's using again. Weird.
Right with God for having them, or they're not necessarily.
This is the microphone camera. He gets his own. The microphone. Old Mike. Sometimes you got to see Mike and let him steal the show. You know what I mean?
A gray area, right? Or they're not necessarily an open door to the devil. Definitely so. But there are numerous different reasons why it's a more benevolent, loving thing to not have those things, right? Like I said earlier, it's better to just play it safe many times, as well to it being a good testimony to other people.
If you're playing it safe, doesn't that mean, because a lot of it he's talking about the origin of the product, whatever it is, right? The origin is what matters. You don't know everything's origin, That's crazy. Like, what if there was like some toy factory and there was a Satanist working there and he's just putting curses on the items? You don't know. How do you know? Maybe it was a Satan, I'm sorry, not a Satanist. They don't believe in God, or a Satan, like a witch, a witch person, like that lady without the eyebrows in the Ray Comfort video or something. They could be working there and putting the spells on. So you might as well just not have anything anywhere at all, anytime at all, ever. Just don't do objects. Have no objects. If you don't have any objects, demons can't get in them. Okay. So just have like an empty house, just a mattress. And really, you need to douse that mattress that you sleep on with holy water on it regular. Okay. Because they don't like holy water. So
you can just go down a list of a bunch of different reasons as to many times why it's wise to not hold on to these kinds of objects. So in this video, I'm not going to literally go through a list of every single thing that's potentially a demonic object, because I'd probably be here for the next 2-3 hours, right?
It's potentially a demonic object. That's like that's infinite things. That's infinite, because like you're saying that just inanimate objects can be full of fucking demons. Of course, it's going to be all right. So we're going to start with apples, anything with the picture of Arizona. I can't do the first letter thing. I shouldn't have gone with that way of putting it down. But yeah, just listing like literally anything. Airplane, paper airplanes can have demons. Okay, they're small, but doesn't matter. Demons, they take up zero space because they don't exist in our reality. They exist outside of it. So
you guys, I know, especially those of you who have followed my channel for a period of time and have gotten discernment from the Lord, you can exercise your discernment.
That's how you get
to things.
And those people that are really, really good upstairs, man, they got that discerning spirits. Because why? Because they've watched my show for so long. So that's why you watch, okay? Because then you're going to be the best discerner, of all the discernment. So just keep watching. You'll get even more discernment powers.
Things that are potentially bad or that are outright bad. I don't think I need to go through an entire list, going down listing every single thing in this video, right? I am going
to be sex toys from AdamandEve.com. Those are bad. They can have demons in them, We go to AdamandEve.com, enter code word Brentley at checkout for 50% off any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Just go to AdamandEve.com, enter code word Brentley. That's BRENTLY. Did it go off? What are you doing? Stop, man. Kevin, wait, why would you? AdamandEve.com, enter code word Brentley, BRENTLY at checkout. Get 50% off any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Let's go to AdamandEve.com. Right. So let me get back to some of these, because we're actually kind of backed up here, and I'm gonna have to go a little bit faster through these suckers. And she said, "Oh, thanks." Ready comment. I'll read your comment. Oh, okay. Emerson, the problem, Sam, is that the so-called observer effect isn't real. It's a Deepak Chopra stuff. I was going to say, I don't think, it's some kind of like misunderstand, because this is typically what happens, right? It's some kind of misunderstanding of the science to where they start with their conclusion, right? And then they look at whatever the science experiments are, and then they try to justify the conclusion that they started with by data mining actual science data, right? So they just go through, and then just this confirmation bias, they just find the data that confirms the thing they want to think, and then but they were always going to think the thing, so they're just looking for shit to back it up, and a lot of times it's like, hey, we don't know why this works, so God, right? And it's like, yeah, I guess that's just okay. So anytime it's the God of the gaps, like anytime that we don't know exactly, like anytime we're like literally trying to figure something out, you're like, we haven't figured it out, therefore God. And it's like, it's not how this works, man. And if that's the kind of evidence that can be convincing, then then what's the point? Why even look at evidence? Why don't you just decide that you're right out the gate, like, and just be like, I got faith, and that's it. That's good enough. Because I mean, at least I feel like that's at least a little bit more honest than just having the faith and then just trying to misunderstand science so that you can point to it and go, this proves my God. But I mean, and again, only when you broaden the definition of God to be so loose that it's just some sort of some sort of effect to the way that some kind of effect works or whatever. Anyway, Lane said, "Oh no, they have many rules against certain board games and sometimes weird ways of playing what they allow. What they have like different, like we can play Monopoly, okay? We can play Monopoly, but." Okay, since greed is bad, the rich man in the eye of a camel type of situation, you know what I'm saying? So we get rid of all the money, and we just play like by just other stuff, just we just kind of have fun with it. Actually, we don't it's like not keeping score, so that way everybody's a winner, That's like, what do you mean that they don't have, they have different ways that you can play board games? I'm fascinated by that. Let me know what you're talking about, Lynn. I'd really like to hear about that. Let's see. Wolfo said, that's a big jump in conclusion to make the kind of statement. The two are only related in your analogy. What was the analogy again? Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, did I finish it? Oh, I think consciousness of observer change wave into particle in double slit experiment. Then of the Big Bang. Okay, I did read this. There is a need of cosmic observer to collapse wave into particles. This is similar to God. Okay, no, we did read that. Okay, I guess so it's saying the cosmic observer to collapse wave into particles is similar to God. How do we know that? How do we know that that's not just some other, like, just whatever that effect is like a natural effect, like of whatever happened? Like, we don't know what happened at the beginning of the Big Bang. We don't know what, I mean, so far it looks like the evidence suggests that it's quantum fluctuations or whatever, like a quantum vacuum halfway between a true and false vacuum state, yada yada. But yeah, you're kind of just adding in a conclusion here that I don't think is warranted, but if you'd have to like demonstrate more than just that. That's very limited. Saying something, there had to be some reason why this turned into that, and the reason this turned into that, God, you know why? Because we don't know what it did it. We don't know how it works or whatever. And even if that's true, that doesn't mean that it's God. And even you are, I mean, I appreciate your honesty here, honestly, because you're even saying this is similar to God, right? So you're not even necessarily saying that it is God. You're just saying it's similar to God. I don't know what that means necessarily, but I mean, if that's your definition of God, I feel like that's a very limited definition that I don't think most people would use, right? That almost could be included in like the pantheistic kind of version of God, where God just is the laws of the universe or something. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Maybe I'm mischaracterizing your argument there, but let me know if I am. I don't want to I don't want to mischaracterize it. Let me see here. Let me skip down a little bit. Oh, Paul's here. Hey, what's up, Paul? Hey, made it. All right. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, cool. And then 200 equals 241. Hey, that's all right. It freaked me out for a second. I was like, this is too much. Don't do that. How can I return? That's no. Like, I don't know. I don't. Okay, but that sounds a little bit better. Thank you so much, Angie. I really appreciate you breaking that down for us, because yeah, we were all kind of wondering about that, right? Put on your glasses. I don't have glasses. I have 20/20 vision. I just have a focusing problem called lexdixia. Yeah. Let's see. Wolfo said, I'll be your natural man. I'll look at it and let you know how demonish the world is. You'll be my like demon looker. Yeah, you're the demon detector. That's a demon detector. That's what we need. That's why I need one of those, because it's probably all the stuff I use. Can it be enclosed? But it's probably in this thing. Is it in a hat? Probably isn't a hat. Now I just got demons wrapping my brain all the time. I don't have to take this thing off. I'm like a cartoon. Okay, I have exactly one. All right. What are we at here? Let's see. 40,000 denominator. Oh, yeah. It's funny that you said that. I realized I made a mistake the other day, and I said 4,000. Right? And the 4 was in my mind, but 40,000 denominations of Christianity, not counting unaffiliated. They can't all be wrong. They can't all be wrong, right? No, they all can be wrong though, right? That's the they can't all be right, but they can't all be wrong, and that's a fact. But fucking 40, and I even saw another one that said 45,000. So there's just a shitload of denominations. It's insane. Nothing could be better evidence, as far as I understand, that all of this is nonsense, because they can't seem to consistently. They can't seem to be consistent with their revelation. Argument from inconsistent revelation is like one of the best arguments. Against religion, I think. Let's see. This is in response to Michael. Said, my first name means God is my judge. Daniel. Oh, really? Wow. Okay. That's interesting. Why people have weird names? Daniel's not a weird name, but that's a weird what that was based on or whatever is weird. We should name a kid what about my God? And God's gonna judge me one day. What about that? Can we make that a name? You're like, yeah. What's the word for that? Oh, Daniel. That's right. Yeah. What? Why would they? All right. It's just interesting how that works. Let's see. Michael said, I'm not worried in the least about what they thought I'd be. Hey, the headless horseman guy named Ichabod Crane. Ichabod means ugly stone in the Bible. What? Really? Ichabod done? Ichabod Crane? I always thought that was a weird name. Ichabod. I kind of like it though, because it's fun to say. Ichabod. Hey, Ichabod. How you doing, Ichabod? It's kind of cool sounding. It's sort of fun. Rolls off the tongue, And if you want something to roll off the tongue, just go to adamandeve.com. You can buy all the stuff to help make it more fun for stuff to roll off the tongue all the time, But, all right. Let's see here. Oh, Asso made it. There we go. All right, we're all good. We're all good here. Thank God, Michael. That's hot. Hot. You can't spell hot like that. That is just makes it sound like you're all proud, haughty or something. You know what I mean? Drusilla said, the static was nice. Do you watch what? Zodanza? Zadanza? It's 4 a.m. here. Whoa, really? Jesus. I wish sometimes time zones didn't exist. Yeah, dude. It's like literally what the new like just afternoon for me. Right? It's 12:44 right now. So yeah, that's good night. Being at 4 in the fucking morning. That's crazy. Jeez. Like almost opposites. That's insane. Jill, I do watch Zunga. What the hell is this? What is Zodanza? I don't know what that is. Let's see. Is late evening for me now? Okay, we're doing time zones. What is it? Oh, here we go. Okay. Je ne sais quoi literally means I don't know, but it's used to mean something like a little something something I can't explain. Oh, okay, okay. That's what it is. Okay, I always thought because can't remember what the context was that I heard it, but it was like, oh, they had like a certain je ne sais quoi, whatever, like how do you say it? Je ne sais quoi to them that I found lovely, and so that's why I always assumed it was like something they couldn't put their finger on um, about somebody that or a characteristic that they liked or something. You know what I mean? Correction. I don't know what. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes good sense. I just put it in like a positive framing, and I guess that didn't apply. Interesting. Drizzle said starts on too bad it's so late. I'm not the same when it's not live. I might set an alarm tonight. Yeah, I feel yeah. It's a whole different vibe, It's a whole different vibe, right? Hey, all right, cool. Satyam said, when my message of super chat will be replied. Oh, June. Oh yeah, sorry. It takes a minute, yeah, for me to get down to them. I apologize because I save them up while I'm watching the video, and then I try to go back and do them in chunks so that I'm not losing focus going back and forth. So it will come up, and I always will get to them. But just give me a minute, and I'll get to it. If nothing else, like because there are times when there's so many comments I can't get to all the regular comments, but I will always stop and do super chats and make sure that I'm not missing any of them by the end of the stream. So that is one thing that you get if you do a super chat. I absolutely will respond to it unless you do it after I quit the show for some reason, Logan. Just as soon as I click off, oh, done, I'm all done, and then it's Logan's like, here's a super sticker. I'm like, what the fuck? Why? What, man? But oh, here we go. Okay, here's another one. All right, let's do this one. I'm used to listening. Wait, let's see. Okay. Satyam said for 200, said, I used to listen to the same thing from all atheists that they don't know about quantum physics theories. That's why atheists don't believe. Scientist Jack Parson was first to find the God in quantum physics. Well, that's weird because, like, I know a lot of people that there's a lot of quantum physicists, scientists that are not Christian. So I think it's odd that you're saying, like, oh, as long as you know about quantum physics, then you should believe in God. Is that kind of what you're saying? Because there's a lot of quantum physicists that are not Christians, and I'm sure they know about the effect you're talking about. They just don't ascribe it to a God, because that's just one effect, right? That we don't necessarily have a good answer for why it affects the way it affects things, whatever. That's not reason to believe in a God, because again, I feel like people don't realize what's happening when they do this. They're saying, I can't figure out how this works this way, therefore magic, right? And every single time we've had something that we did not know the answer to, it was never magic. We just had to get better instrumentation, get better, like, get a lot more eyeballs on it and ask more questions and so on and so forth. And we end up like learning why these things work the way they do. And before we had that God question mark that we were putting on top of it, say, oh, this must be just God. And turned out that no, it was just in effect because of something else or some other natural phenomenon. You'd have to be able to demonstrate that it's not a natural phenomenon. Now, in quantum physics, the phenomenons that happen are weird. They seem very foreign and alien to us because things don't function the way that things function here on this planet when we can like look at stuff. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't function that way in that quantum realm. You're dealing with the single units of whatever it is, and the way they interact with each other on a single unit basis. It's just a very different world. So when you're looking at that stuff and you go, oh man, I don't understand how this stuff could work this way, therefore God, you're still just, it's just still just the argument from ignorance, saying I can't figure out how this could work, therefore it must be magic, when that's never been the answer. The answer is just still, I don't know why it works that way. We'd need more evidence, I'd say, than some effect, in quantum physics to be like, oh, that must be a God. We need more than that. And then let me ask you this, Satyam, are you saying that effect is that is just the God, or do you believe in a specific God? Because if you believe in a specific God, pointing to something like this in quantum physics, that does not lead to that. You go, hey, we can't figure out why this effect happens, therefore my God that I believe, that Allah, or whatever. I'm not saying that is your God. Maybe it's like Vishnu or whatever, like whatever God it is. If you believe in a specific God, pointing to an effect in quantum physics and going, hey, we can't quite figure out exactly why this effect works exactly the way it works, so therefore all this other stuff is true. My whole holy book and all this type of stuff, that all these specifics, right, are all true. It's because of this one thing that we can't really fully explain in science. It's a huge leap from this to that. You know what I mean? But anyway, sorry. But I do want to try to spend more time on the super chats like that. And to be clear, like this is a debate show. I don't mind questions like that, like atheist type questions. We typically, are kind of preaching to the choir a lot here. You know what I mean? Because I don't really do the breaking down arguments and stuff like that. But it is fun every so often. I'd say, like, so, if you want to ask questions like that, it's absolutely cool. It's just I'm not as skilled at answering those kinds of questions as, like, say, Ember or Skeptics and Scoundrels, or a bunch of other people that I'm blanking on for right now for some reason, or Jimmy Snow, all that type of stuff. Anyway, all right, where are we at? Let me do a little bit more of the video.
Talking about at the end of
we go over a little bit today because we're having fun. And I don't have this much of a time limit today. So
this video, some general rules that you can use, discernment principles that you can use to try to define if something's not of God. But one thing that I would encourage you guys to do is, if you have not yet, just go through your house and ask yourself, why do I own this? What is the origin of this? If it's a statue in your house, if it's something to do with Halloween, it's something to do with, some pagan holiday, something of that nature.
A Christmas tree or a wreath, God forbid. What does he mean? Like, you're just going to go through and start, now, where did this picture frame come from? I don't know. It's kind of if you look at, like, the way that rose stems, they almost kind of look like barbed wire. Barbed wire is probably on, like, keeping things in. God would probably have barbed wire on the gates of hell. That's probably a demonic picture frame. I'm just saying, we better throw this sucker out. Probably just letting demons all over the place here because of this thing. Like, what do you mean? Like, what is the origin of this? What?
Just ask yourself, what is the origin of this? What does this represent spiritually speaking, right? And if you just generally take a day to survey throughout your house, you're going to find a lot of things that you can just Google it up, like dream catchers, for an example.
Oh,
right?
yeah, dream
You'll
catchers.
see that they're within 30 seconds of researching, you can see that they're actually a spell. They're actually a charm. And they use spiritual manipulation in the spirit realm to try to defend yourself spiritually, besides faith in Jesus Christ.
It's a different religion. This is where it feels like it gets really racist. Christianity, like, takes anything that's important to any other culture when it comes to, like, protecting from evil spirits, and like the Native American native, or just just natives, like original, what are the First Nations folks? They, like, have their own kind of belief system. I think it's kind of pagan or whatever. They believe, like, there's a spirit in everything, like nature has, like, a bunch of different spirits in each thing, I think. But anyway, and it's like their culture has, like, these beliefs, and one of their things was a dream catcher. It's supposed to protect you from having evil dreams or whatever, from these, like, evil spirits that would give you bad dreams. And that's just important to that culture, and they take it like that's demon, demonic. They're just like literally calling somebody else's culture demonic. Like that just feels so like that just feels racist. I don't know.
That you use, here's a good rule of thumb, to try to manipulate the spirit realm, to try to protect yourself, to try whatever, that's not merely focused on faith in Christ, you shouldn't be using it, because ultimately Jesus taught us to pray, us to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness.
It's like anything, as long as it's not specifically my thing. Like this is where you start to go, because and it's like you start to be like, okay, so we just have to throw literally everything out. Everything, because if it wasn't created in a church by Christians that are the same denomination as you, can't even have the Catholic stuff. If it's not built that way, demonic, because the origins are not Jesus-y enough or whatever. Like, come on, man, this is insane.
And everything else will be added. So you don't need good luck charms, dream catchers, anything related to that to protect yourself spiritually. You just need to be in obedience to Jesus Christ and seek to do his will. But really, seriously, guys,
you just got to always be doing exactly what Jesus wants all the time. And, 100% of the time. And then you will not have to worry about demons, So just get rid of all those objects. So like the Lucky Charms and everything. Like, in fact, get rid of that box. That's cereal. That's demonic cereal. Just because it's the name of cereal does not mean that it's not an origin. It's clearly Catholic, right? Because it's got the leprechaun, and then Lucky Charms. Hello, evil demon. Don't eat Lucky Charms. That's evil.
Guys, if you haven't done this before, after this video is over, go through your house, go in the attic and see all of the pagan things and the statues and potential witchcraft, potential new age.
Go look through all of your statues. I don't know who this video is for, but I don't have like a bunch of my house is not full of fucking statues, man. Like, what do you want? What about like one of those little river thing or like little fountain things? Does that count? That got demons in it, like a water demon or something, probably.
Things, right? And ask yourself, look it up. Okay, you see a tapestry up there, right?
Tapestry.
Look up, what is a tapestry? What does it represent? And you're going to figure out that there's sacred geometry, a new age principle associated with that tapestry, right? If you just generally look through the different objects in your house.
You got to look up the history of tapestries. And if somebody that was early on with the origin of tapestries was not 100% dedicated their life to Jesus Christ of our Lord and Savior of Nazareth, then it's evil, and get rid of it. Get rid of all your tapestries. I don't care if your great grandma like passed it down to you and it's it's really important to the family. Burn it. Just burn it. Might have demons. Burn it.
Now, obviously, you don't have to like look at furniture or to like look at a car. You don't have to go.
Obviously, yeah, right. Now you just talked about fucking tapestries, man. But furniture, that's silly. Now that's just let's not get crazy here. Like what, man? Like what? Like it's weird when they find their line like this frame I froze on. Yeah. Fuck, what was I talking about? There was something I was saying. I don't know.
And literally comb through every specific thing. But if there's a potential spiritual origin or something that object spiritual.
But it's so funny when you see the line that they draw. Like, it's silly if you go past this line. Like, that's where the fucking silliness starts? Okay. I would have thought it would have been back before everything you fucking said from the beginning. Okay, the silliness started as soon as you said, demons can get inside stuff. That's it. You're done. You're already like falling off the fucking cliff of stupid. All right.
Actually represents to you or represents in general. It's definitely good to ask the origin in that situation. Deuteronomy.
You ask the origin? Yeah, the origin. What do you think about this? I don't know who you are, how I'm even able to ask you a question since you're a concept. But
chapter 7, verse 26 says, "Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thy house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it. But thou shalt utterly detest it, and thou shalt not abhor it, for it is a cursed thing." So something I want you guys to understand
I don't know what the fuck that was all about. Anybody else get anything he was trying to say there?
You're using discernment. It doesn't matter if you have good intentions with something that is inherently evil.
It's funny too when they do this with the discernment thing, because they're like, yeah, you should, use discernment and everything. And it's like, as opposed to what? Just not thinking about nothing anytime ever? Like I just react. I don't ever discern anything. I don't even think actually. I just start deciding stuff without deciding stuff. I don't even think about my decisions. I think about literally nothing and just do everything. Everybody discerns, man. Like they all discern like differently. But like, what is that even? It's so funny when they do this because it's just like everybody fucking discerns already, dude. And you're like, but you should do it though. It's like, yeah, can't not. We can't not do it. There's no time where I can be like, I'll decide not to discern things. You know, like what?
A lot of these objects are inherently evil. A lot of the objects that are considered pagan, right?
Right.
Most of them are inherently evil. There are some that could be a gray area, of course, right?
Of course.
But most of them definitely are inherently evil. Let's say you have a Catholic statue and you want to say, oh, well, I don't want to offend my parents. I want to help lead them to the Lord. So I'm not going to get rid of this.
A Catholic statue? Really? A statue that was literally created for the purpose of a particular religion that is, like, by definition, under the umbrella of your religion. But because it's Catholic, a different interpretation or whatever denomination, then it's demonic. There's demons in the statue. My God.
You know, it doesn't matter if you have a good intention. Those statues are inherently not of God. You know, the devil doesn't care about the reason why you disobey God. He just wants you to disobey God because then he'll get an open door.
It's so weird that you can disobey God without even fucking realizing it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's only disobeying God to you. Because I'm pretty sure Catholics, the people that I thought like kind of owned the patent on demon possession, just out the gate, you know, they have a whole like group of people that they say are like demon killing superheroes, you know. They're just old white guys with like a little collar thing, but they think they're demon killer superheroes, right? They and you're saying that a statue that's Catholic like has demons in it, like it's just whatever you are claiming, man. And it seems to be up to the interpretation of each individual discerning it for themselves. But of course, your discernment is right and everybody else is wrong. But
he doesn't really care your motive or your reason as to why you're in disobedience to God, or in this case, you have a cursed object in your house. Now, something that I want to clearly articulate.
That just sounded so weird. It's like, or in this case, you have a cursed object in your house. He just doesn't he talk weird? He talks like he doesn't believe what he's saying, right? Like everything's just like a maybe. Why does he keep licking stuff, man? This guy needs to go to AdamandEve.com, dude. You know, he's clearly got a cravings for some tongue fun, as I like to call it. You know, fun tongue, fun times. That's fun. But yeah, whatever I just said. You know, so go to AdamandEve.com and enter that code word Brentley. Okay, BRENTLY. Check out. Just do it. Just go do it right now.
Though in this video is that I'm not in agreement with paranoia. That is not where this video is coming from.
Bullshit, man. No, just stop. Okay, you're like, yeah, there is a way to go too far. You've already breached that out the gate once you started deciding that there's magical, undetectable monsters and fucking inanimate objects. Okay, you breached crazy the second you started saying that shit, and now you're like, no, this is the only one to talk about paranoia. Okay, some people can think there's too many monsters in the closet, so and that's just silly. Now one monster in the closet, that's obviously reasonable, but
because there's a lot of people that get paranoid when they start learning about demons and when they start learning about deliverance, not because they're
because like when they start learning when they start like convincing themselves of the stupid bullshit that is undetectable invisible monsters are around every corner that are trying to get into them and possess their mind. Yeah, I can imagine. That'd be a little bit of anxiety inducing, man.
They're learning about demons or deliverance, but just because the enemy takes advantage of weaknesses that they have as they are learning about these things. But I'm not there's some people that feel like when they become a Christian, they're so afraid of any little thing that they do that they just isolate themselves in their house, and they feel like if they go out in public, the devil's going to just utterly take them out.
I mean, what are the origins of the ground outside? I mean, you know, who knows what the origins of that shit is? And you just want them to be walking around on top of it. You know, what if they fall right through into hell or something, right? Because they stepped on a wormhole portal to hell. How do you know, right? So you got to stay inside and never leave or do anything at all, anytime, ever.
Any little thing, any interaction they have with an unbeliever, or any little
That's the
object
other.
they have from a company that's potentially not promoting Christian values, could be an open door.
What?
No, I'm not in agreement with that stance whatsoever. Because
So it's he basically created like there's no way to determine what is demonic and what isn't. Because it's like, now you don't want to go crazy with it. He's like, but he's like, I'm not in favor of going overboard. Okay. But he's like basically made this like dichotomy that's like it's impossible to determine what is within. He's like saying that like I don't know. It's just like, oh, so just talking to a non-Christian. What if you talk to a witch? Right? Does that count? When does like what point does what you're saying actually count? Because and you're saying like just use discernment. Well, everybody's already doing that anyway. Okay, so that clearly can't work, right? And it's just wow.
you could hold yourself to a standard where you just have to go out and live in the wilderness. Like you can't even be in this world anymore. So I'm not trying to place a higher standard on you guys than that which is possible. And just because there's a company that doesn't promote Christian values, that doesn't mean that you can't buy from it. Now, if they're outright promoting like satanic things, then obviously you wouldn't want to support that company.
Balenciaga, right?
Or buy those objects. But I would be hypocritical to say I never go to Walmart. I would be hypocritical to say that
you would just be dishonest because you clearly go to Walmart. I mean, let's face it, with walls like what you got right there, Walmart's the only thing in town. Okay. That's like the store, right? It's like the strip or whatever, the city is a Walmart and like a laundromat and a vending machine just by itself out on a corner. That's like the neighborhood he lives in.
Ever go to fast food restaurants or restaurants that have secularist ideologies behind them, right?
What? So what does that even mean? It goes to like this secular restaurant. If it's not Chick-fil-A, evil. It's demons. It's full of demons. Okay. Like what do they even mean by that? Like what is a secular restaurant? Any restaurant that isn't like absolute Christian? Like
definitely do those
weird,
things,
man.
but I don't abuse those things, right? I use it for good. Now, obviously, there's a difference though, because you can't take inherently demonic objects, right? And say that, well, I'm just going to use, you can't say I'm going to take a Ouija board and just use it for good.
It's a decorative piece. Okay. It's a decorative piece. And that little eye thing, it's good for reading magazines, because you can see, like kind of bubbles up the words so you can see them a little better.
I'm going to use a dream catcher. Those things are just inherently not of God.
It's a frisbee, okay? So if you call it a dream catcher, it's a problem. It's just a frisbee, all right? And we have fun with it.
But would it be too high of a standard to say that we can't shop at Walmart, we can't shop at the even eventually
you set up like two extremes, man. This is so weird. Yeah, I'm not gonna say you can't shop at Walmart. First of all, what the fuck is he talking about Walmart for? Is there like are the Waltons Satanists or something that I'm unaware of? What happened at Walmart? Is the W like some type of satanic symbol? Like what is he? What? It's just that it's not a Christian company?
Could come to the place where you can't buy anything from anywhere. Even Chick-fil-A, for an example, you could go to such an extreme, like they say they're a Christian company, but they've compromised on their beliefs. They're in support of the LGBT agenda, things of that nature. Or maybe not.
The fuck they're not. They just can't be like they can't blatantly break the law. And they're, but that's them just not breaking the fucking law. They're very clear about their anti-LGBTQ stance or whatever. Right, where they were trying, and I still think they do try to not hire LGBTQ folks, and then be like, oh no, it's for literally any other reason other than we don't think y'all deserve to be human, like treated like human beings or whatever, But they just can't break the law. They can't be like, we're not going to hire you because you're gay, because that would literally get them in big trouble legally. But because they can't do that, period. They are just they are in agreement with the LGBTQ agenda. It's like, god damn, these people are fucking insane. It's a public business, man. You can't can't have rules like that against just people like you can't have discrimination practices like built into your business.
in support of it, but they're not standing against it anymore. So you could eventually
Stop
breed this
standing against-
paranoia where it's like, I can't buy anything from anybody who's not a believer, and then
All right, I know it is. I feel like he's kind of repeating himself, right? Right, that's what he's doing. I think we can just read the rest of these comments and then finish her up. Okay, let's see here. Say, atheists didn't studied quantum physics. That's why they don't believe in God. Okay, so I think a lot of people are responding to this, right? So Wolfo said, atheists are just people like everyone else. We don't just jump to a God for explanation that we have real tangible evidence for. And not knowing something doesn't make it God. That's my point exactly. But it seems like atheists didn't study quantum physics. That's why they don't. Am I reading that again? Oh, is that the same comment? Okay, sometimes it doubles up comments for some reason. I don't know why it does that, but it does. Wolvo said, I had a holy bed once, not comfortable. Replaced it with a memory foam mattress. It truly remembers how I like to be helped when I sleep. But that's probably because of the demons in it. The demons remember exactly how to hold you when you sleep. And yeah, Andrew's here. So, why are atheists required to be physicists too? I'm not required to be a marine biologist to say I don't believe in mermaids. Believe mermaids exist. Thank you. That's actually an excellent point. Because that's the thing that gets so frustrating when dealing with theists is that we have to know about literally everything just to be like, yeah, I don't think it's a magic being. I don't think the reason is a magic being. And they're like, well, how did the universe come into existence? And you're like, yeah, I don't know. Magic being. See, and you're like, okay, well, now I got to go and learn everything about, cosmology or whatever, like I have to learn about the beginning of the universe and all this other stuff. And then, oh, well, what about a soul? Okay, well, do you know about all neuroscience and everything like that? Okay, well, then now we got to go back and learn everything about that so that we can just say now on to a fucking magical soul thing that drives the machine. And then we just keep having to do this. Now you're saying that we have to know quantum fucking physics in order to be like, yeah, I don't think a God exists. And you're saying that's a point against us because we don't know what this particular effect is that I'm sorry, but you're not really describing it that great. And so I'm not really entirely sure what you're talking about. Ember, I think, does. And I think I'm going to have to talk to her about that because I have no idea if we're like what's going on. But so you're saying we have to know about quantum physics to just be like, nah, to a magic being existing, like a magical dude or whatever, like a magical, all-powerful, all-knowing, completely undetectable being that lives outside of space and time somehow. It functions within 0 seconds somehow and doesn't take up any space and doesn't occupy any time. All these things that are literally impossible, but just to say not on to that, we got to know about literally everything. So anyway, Antier, thank you for that comment. Hey, Captain, hey Dave, what's up, man? It's good to see you. Good to see you. We might be hanging out later today. I haven't checked my email back again, but we were kind of planning on that in a couple hours here. So that'd be great. Let me know, Dave, what's up? Star Song said some people believe that a physical object can serve as a focus to tie a demon to our reality. Yeah, I feel like I've heard that one before. It's like a conduit, right? Isn't that kind of like what he's saying? Like it's a conduit to get him in this world, whatever. Paul said, in different parts of the universe, different time flow, how can someone observe everything in the universe at the same time? Yeah, I mean, and I think that's why that we basically have to be honest and be like, look, I don't know really, right? Because you can't look at the entire universe all simultaneously. It could literally be whatever it is. Could be anywhere we aren't looking when we aren't looking there, right? And so just to be honest and be like, look, I can't look everywhere at the same time, but at the same time, I don't think that it's reasonable to believe something is there. It's like the teapot, right? There could be a teapot orbiting Mars or whatever, right? But I don't have good reason to think that it is there. I can't go there and check, right? But I have no reasons to believe that it is there, even though I can't go and check. You know what I'm saying? I need actual reasons to think things. Star Song said, Captain Des, I just watched a video about cartilaginous. I don't know what that is. Fish somewhere. Can't think where. Is that a type? Oh, that's a cryptid. Captive Death does cryptids, or it does all sorts of things, but they do cryptids as well, which is interesting. And I think Bree with Ivesai, she does cryptids as well. I think she has like Cryptid Corner or something like that, if I remember right. Let's see here. Wolfo said, a random dark has appeared in the chat. What do you do next? Turn to page 69 for an extended adventure. Oh, nice. Choose your own 69 adventure. Amber said, on the contrary, people who do study quantum physics usually come to the same realization as Laplace. There is no need for a God in the model. Yeah. I mean, that's, and anytime you look at any kind of Pew Research as it applies to any kind of science, there's always a higher number of atheists or agnostics in the sciences than any other job, as far as I understand, other than like atheist activist, if that's a job. I don't know if that's a job, but that would probably have a higher number of atheists. Just say, it's sort of in the name. Andrea, good. You are very good. That's my point. I am just saying that when a scientist studies quantum physics, they also start believing in God. But they don't, though, man. That's not true. Unless you're saying that just like wondering about that particular effect is like believing in God. I don't understand. This is some very. It just seems like we're just leaping to conclusions here with this kind of logic here. And I don't know, because you're like, they're gonna believe in God if they study quantum physics, and that's just not true. I don't know where you're getting that. It's just interesting. Captive Dave, I say Captive Dave. Dave's been captured, but he's anyway. Hi, sorry, no fishing. Dave's pond at Dave. Oh, no fishing at Dave's pond. Got it. Yep. Let's see here. Say hi to Wolfos. All right, so it's incorrect. Sounds like you are pulling your info from an echo chamber who doesn't care if you know the truth. Just believe. Yeah, because again, you keep on saying that more people that believe that look into quantum physics end up believing in God, and I'd need to see actual evidence of that, because that's, I've never heard of that, unless you're talking about Deepak Chopra, like whatever, and that's, that doesn't really count. Wasn't he like a quantum physicist or whatever? But then he also clearly really liked Descartes, because he just loves that Cartesian. So, I said it right this time, Cartesian. I always say like Darkesian, because his name's Descartes, and that's who we're talking about, Descartes, and it's a Cartesian. It's just the second half of his name. Why wouldn't it be Descartes? You know what? Never mind. This is my pet peeve, but that's why I mispronounce it all the time. Just saying, okay? But Cartesian, he loves that Cartesian shit. That's my point. But yeah, it does sound like maybe you're getting your information from an echo chamber, but I'm not sure. Like, just let us know. Do you have any sources on any of this stuff? Because that would be helpful. Like, be like, hey, more quantum physicists, report believing in God after whatever, and like actually point us to the data that this is based on. Star Song said Thunderfoot is a nuclear physicist. He's an atheist. He's a nuclear physicist. Yeah, I mean, dude, most physicists are, dude. I mean, Stephen Hawking was an atheist. As far as I understand, like most, they're either agnostic or atheists, and as far as I can tell, like the type of agnostics they are, it's like it just is atheist. If you don't believe in a particular God, you're an atheist. Like you're not a theist, But all right, let me get this one. So, right, another 200 rubies, I think. Emmer said observer effect is wrong. This proves atheists just don't want God. So for it, they can deny quantum physics too. Now, man, you're just not you're unable to like you seem to be unable to actually break down any actual evidence of anything. You're just making claims, and you keep on saying that we're the ones that aren't understanding it, but you're not giving us anything to understand that actually leads us to the conclusions that you seem to have come to. You need to like walk us through how you know what you think you know about quantum physics, right? And point to sources that say, look, this demonstrates that a God exists. Because all we're seem to be taking away from this is that you don't understand how something in quantum physics works, and maybe even the quantum physicists themselves don't understand how a particular effect works and why it works, right? And even when it comes to like the light, whatever, functioning as a wave or whatever the particle was, whatever it was that makes it the wave particle behave differently, right? And even if they don't understand that, that doesn't lead to God. It doesn't lead to that conclusion. That's what I feel like you're not understanding here, is you're leaping to this conclusion, like we don't understand something, and so therefore God. That's not positive evidence for a God. It's just positive evidence that we don't understand something, if that's even the case. Because as far as I can see, that you've like given us here, it's been like literally nothing. You're not telling us anything specific. You're not citing any sources. You're not telling us like where we can look at the actual evidence of this whatever effect that you're talking about, and how we know that the reason that effect functions the way that it does is because of a magical, undetectable being, right? That just you're not. Yeah, you know what I mean? And we could, we can check evidence for stuff, right? Like we can, like black holes, we can't necessarily see black hole. Like we could see the things that black holes were affecting. That if before we knew what the black hole was, that's like you saying, well, that was God. Look, it's affecting all this stuff, and you don't know what it is. Look, it's sucking in light and everything. It's got to be like only gods can suck in light, right? Maybe even time. Only gods can suck up time, right? Like you're just looking at something that's a natural phenomenon that we possibly don't fully understand and are just attributing it to God. If that's not the case, then we're going to need more information. We're going to need more evidence. Okay, man? Like I'm happy to do this, but but don't be saying shit like this. This is just like, come on, man. Really? Amber said observer effect is wrong. I don't know what that even means exactly. This proves atheists, like the atheists just don't want God, so for it they can deny quantum physics. You're just literally just telling us why we think things, right? You're saying you just obviously don't want to believe in a God, so you just you're just ignoring all the obvious quantum physics evidence of a God that's just so perfectly obvious to anybody that's actually studied quantum physics, when that's just not the case. We have tons of quantum physicists that are atheists, man. Most of our friend group in like content creators, as far as like atheist and skeptic content creators, we have tons of friends that are actual scientists, right? And so when you say stuff like this, you're assuming that like we don't know any quantum physicists, when we do. We know all sorts of scientists, man. And it's just it's very clear that you just want to believe in a God, and you think that this one effect in quantum physics, it's just you just want to believe in a God. That's it. And it doesn't really matter what evidence there is or isn't. You're just going to believe in it. See how that doesn't help anything? See how that's just like me assuming why you do or do not do a thing, even though I have no reason to, no ability to know that, right? That's literally what you're doing right now. It's like when people tell me that I just want to sin and that's why I want to be an atheist or whatever, right? And I always just tell Christians, yeah, well, you just want forgiveness because you're clearly a very bad person. You must have done something really evil, and that's why you value forgiveness so much. Right. And so that's just the only reason that you are a Christian. You just need to believe in God because you're such a bad person for whatever you did that you like crave forgiveness, And then I'm just like, see how that doesn't help anything? See how that's me just making shit up, about you that I couldn't possibly know? See how unhelpful that is, And that's exactly the type of shit that you're doing right now. So anyway, let's see. Wolfo said, I have a theoretical degree in physics, and I doubt your statements. Oh, okay. So we do have people with degrees in the chat right now in that particular field. Is it a particular field? Oh, a degree in physics. So I don't know if that's, but I mean that I feel like they would know more than somebody that doesn't have a degree in physics, but yeah. Let's see. Emerson said that's circular, Satyam, and incorrect. Yeah, you're starting from your conclusion and then just trying to confirm it. That's what it seems like. But I mean, again, provide some sources. Like, can you send us like to go be able to look for something? Can you show the actual paper, like the peer reviewed, the medical, or not medical, but the science journal, the peer reviewed science journal? Just point us to that, because if it is evidence for God, then we should be able to evaluate a peer-reviewed journal entry. You know what I mean? And we can actually look at what it says. We can look at the abstract. We can look at the results. We can see all this stuff. But you're not providing any of that because you seem to just be like, well, you just don't want to believe. Okay, what's the evidence? What's the evidence is you not just believing right now, right here, right when I said quantum physics proves God. Why aren't you believing stuff? Well, I said it. I said the thing. The quantum physics proves God. So now believe it. Do it. Do it. Just believe the thing I want you to believe. Do it. Better, that's all you're doing, man. Like, give us something, And when quantum physics is true, you can't just deny quantum physics. So what the hell? How are you equating? How are you equating quantum physics with God? You're just being like, quantum physics is true. First of all, I don't even know what the fuck that means. Quantum physics is a study, right? And we're coming to conclusions through this particular field of science, but like saying that it is just true is like a weird, I don't know. It's almost like saying like biology is true. It's like, that's not what, that doesn't mean anything. Like, it's just biology is the study of something, and we have a collection of evidence, and we get our instrumentation gets better and better, and we understand things more and more as we go through it. But we can just say all of biology is true. It's just like a weird, it doesn't make sense. I mean, maybe there's a translation error thing here, but it's just odd to say it that way. I'm just saying. Let's see. QT is the best mode. What? but it being true doesn't support any God idea. Oh, is it quantum theory? Is the best model. Oh, I'm sorry, not mode. But it being true doesn't support any God idea. Yeah, it's a model, and we continuously update the model based on new information and new evidence. The time to believe in a God is when the evidence warrants said belief, right? And it's not just going to be one thing in quantum physics or whatever, or even I don't even know. Like, I don't even understand how you could say that quantum physics just straight up proves God. That is just so fascinating to me that you would just start with that and go. Satyam said, I was just saying that the Big Bang can't happen without an observer. So that, okay, and I have heard this one before. How do you know that? How do you know that it could not happen without an observer? The Big Bang is a mathematical formula where we are walking backward by evaluating background microwave photons, right? We're measuring them, right? And it is measurable, but it doesn't tell us anything about what happened before that, and quantum physics, we got a lot of interesting and compelling theories and everything, but none of it is concrete as far as I understand. I think that, like I said, the best model, as far as I know, is quantum fluctuations. Like I was saying, quantum, like a halfway between a quantum vacuum state or whatever, a scalar field, a quantum scalar field halfway between a true vacuum and false vacuum state. But again, I don't fucking, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. This would be something that you should call in. I don't know, like or do a super chat. You should do these super chats on like one of the scientist shows for like the ACA or the Line, because I feel like they would know a lot more about this sort of thing, especially like. I'm trying to think. Do we have like a quantum physicist that's in the ACA or in the Line with Jimmy? I don't know, but I feel like they would be the best people to ask. But we do have another 200 rubies for. I was just using cosmic observer theory because according to it, even Big Bang can't happen without an observer. So it hints about God, but we don't know. Like, here's the thing: you're inferring certain things because I've heard this, and I've heard physicists say that that's a misunderstanding of what that effect is, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody had to be there watching. Some conscious brain had to be there at the Big Bang. That's not what the observer effect is. I feel you're misunderstanding the observer effect. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It has to do with the type of tools that they were using to observe certain effects in quantum physics. And but it doesn't have to do with a mind having to be present, as far as I understand from the few physicists that I've actually talked to. But yeah, but this is the argument, and I've seen them respond to this argument about the Big Bang Theory. So I feel like you'd probably be better off like writing into a science show. You know, this is a comedy show, dude. Like we do, you know. I mean, see what I'm talking about? I'm talking about demonic objects. Okay. Now, if you want some jokes about demonic objects, I'm your guy. Okay, that's what we do here. But and not to say that we don't like having these types of conversations too, but that if you're actually trying to get like hard, like structured arguments for why I'm not, we're not convinced that quantum physics proves God, or at least hints at it from what you said. Now, because you've moved from proving God to now, well, it kind of hints at it, hints that maybe something had to be watching at the time of the Big Bang. But we don't have any way to know that with any level of certainty, right? But anyway, it's fine. I've got no problem taking these kind of comments, and I really do appreciate the super chats. But I'm just telling you, like, you're probably going to get better information if you go to like an actual scientist versus a punk rocker, an ex-addict punk rocker that likes making jokes about fundamentalist beliefs. You know what I mean? Just saying. Let's see. Wolfo's got response. Siam, that's just the conclusion you are willing to jump to. That doesn't make it any more true. Yeah, because I feel like we'd need something other than that. Because even here's the problem. Because I guarantee, and I kind of needled at this before, but it almost seems like you're going to the, hey, this looks like something had to observe something, right? And that's a God now, right? That doesn't fit anybody's description of God. That's you've completely removed all utility from the definition of God. Something that just watches something, and is just present for something, could be literally any human or anything that observes is now considered like something that could be a God, right? I mean, I know you're trying to put it in terms of the Big Bang or whatever, and saying it had to observe at that point, right? But it doesn't, that's not what a God is to anybody. It's not just something that observes something at a certain time, even if it's at the Big Bang. Like, you believe in a particular God, don't you? It's not just something that observed stuff at the beginning of the universe, right? That's not the God that you believe. That's not the God that anybody believes in, right? Just something that looks at stuff, at the beginning of that. No, it was a very specific being that created it in a very specific way, and then has very specific things that it wants, and it has very specific things that it requires of you, and will communicate with you through the Holy Spirit or through revelation or whatever. Right? None of that, and all those things are not just, it was observing stuff during the Big Bang. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're jumping. It's like calling it a God is just jumping, just leaping to conclusions. Oh, did I read the whole one? Yeah. Anyway, let's see. But I appreciate the super chat. But it's just, I don't know enough about quantum physics to be able to really speak about this with any kind of intelligence. That's not known, Sayam. We have no reason to think an observer is necessary. But even if one were, all you need is a consciousness anywhere in space-time. We fulfill that criteria. So that we humans fulfill that criteria, like because we are a conscious being somewhere in the universe. I don't know. I don't really understand. This is where it gets really complex for me, man. But a lot of this, though, I feel like we're dealing in like very theoretical, untestable theoretical science. Especially if we're putting it before the Big Bang, which, according to Stephen Hawking, is nonsense. That doesn't even mean anything. He was saying that's like a square circle because there was no before the Big Bang. But I don't know if I agree with that either, because it's like, I don't know. I think there could have been a before, but it's a different form. And anyway, so it doesn't matter. Let's see. Paul said, how can space consciousness even exist in the first place? How can space consciousness even exist in the first place? Yeah, it kind of exactly saying that an observer had to be there at the beginning of the universe and that equals God raises more fucking questions than it answers. You know what I mean? Right? Because you're not like, okay, so what made that consciousness? How did that consciousness come into existence? Did there have to be another observer when they came when that consciousness was created? Like what? How does this stuff work? And if we can't answer any of these questions, like how exactly it works or why it works, then we can't really say for certain any kind of certainty that these claims could be anywhere near true. You know, we're just sort of inferring things. But and a lot of times, like I said, we're just creating a God that we'd like to believe in and justifying it through data mining. You know. Anyway, uh, our consciousness is just electric impulses in our brain, nothing supernatural. And that's a good point too. So when we look at consciousness, that is a human concept. That is something that we understand as humans, right? Our consciousness or whatever, that is a concept that we created to describe something that is that describes a function of like how our brains work. Let's assuming that applies to anything else is could just be a like a not pareidolia, but we're just applying human traits to things out in space. You know what I mean? When we have no reason to believe that there's a consciousness out there or anything, or there's a consciousness that exists outside of our definition of how we think our brains work, how it seems to us like our brains work. That's consciousness, and now you're saying that could be out in space that was there for the beginning of the universe, but we got no reason to think that. You're just like inferring something that is a purely human concept and putting it on something at the beginning of time. So just to me, it seems like an ad hoc, that's right, ad hoc rationalization where you're just kind of like going, oh, consciousness must be like, we have a consciousness. And so it must be back then, whatever, but you're just making stuff up. Let's see here. There we go. Amber, then tell me why electrons behave different when observer effect happens in double slit experiment. Because of the mechanism that was used to measure that. There's things in the devices that we use to measure that, and it affects those things. Didn't necessarily need to be a conscious mind. It was the instrumentation that we were using, the tool, as far as I understand. But again, I could be wrong. Al said, what we need to do is just ignore all the electrons and see what slit they pick. It's like, because they're just out there just deciding like, which slit should I choose today? I feel like the top slit works. That's my favorite. I like top. It's like top tester, man. I just like the top slits. It's just my favorite. Electrons don't behave differently when observed. You can't observe them. They're subatomic. So we use a detector, which is an electromagnetic field. Thank you. All right. See, this is what I was just explaining. Thank you, Ember. We use an electromagnetic field. Electrons are electromagnetic particles. So the electromagnetic field is what is affecting those particles, not the fact that our brain is observing the data that the tool gives us, provides for us. That's different. You know what I mean? Like it's just they just jump to stuff. Like it's because it's like they just need to believe that it's true, and now they're trying to something they clearly barely understand, which is quantum physics, and trying to use that as evidence to be like, oh, there had to be a thinking mind there to witness the electrons. But it's not the thinking mind; it's the instrumentation we use. Obviously, it's the devices that we use that has a field. What's that? Okay. Let's see here. Of course, an EM, electromagnetic field, will alter how they work. Yeah, magnets like affect stuff. Electromagnetic fields, of course. Right? It's just. Let's see. God ignores all the particles in my body. I mean, God ignores all the everything everywhere because it's not real. But let's see. So, yes, Ember, but faux misunderstanding is more fun. I know. This reminds me. You know what it reminds me of? It's like, and I always use this little interpretation for the argument from ignorance because it's like, I don't believe that spark plugs exist, right? Because hey, Spark plus, like cars run on gasoline, right? Sparks plus gasoline equals what? Yeah, I've seen enough Michael Bay movies to know what happens when sparks meet gasoline. Okay, they don't exist. Spark plugs aren't real. Okay, buddy. They're made up. It's just something that all the mechanics agree upon. They all decided that they can make a little bit extra money if they make up a part of the engine and then charge you money and say that your spark plugs aren't working good or they have to replace them or something. But it's all bullshit. Okay. Those things are made up just so mechanics can make money, because those government checks. Okay, I guess I missed I want to jump the shark on the government checks thing. But, you get what I'm saying, right? It's just they're misunderstanding the basic, like something in there, and then acting like it's not true or it is true, whatever. Like I'm using the like a conspiracy minded type of thing where I say it's not true. These things don't exist, these spark plugs. But you're saying, well, then that means that the spark, like, well, the engine actually runs on God because it couldn't run on spark plugs, right? It has to run on magic because how else could the engine run? If gasoline and sparks equal explosion, you know what I mean? It's just like misunderstanding shit and continuing your thinking down the line. And that's basically all conspiracy theories. This is some version of the argument from ignorance, or as I call spark plug deniers, Let's see. Captive Death said, and you may ask yourself, well, how did it get here? And you may ask yourself, well, how did it get here? What? Everything? I mean, that is the question that we're asking, right? Where did everything come from, right? And but did it need to come from anywhere? Like a lot of these questions are interesting questions. We do have evidence of an expansion, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean we can infer a bunch of other stuff based on that. It doesn't even mean that we can infer that the universe did pop into existence or come into existence. It just means that it possibly could have just changed forms when it expanded or whatever. As far as I understand, again, not an expert on any of this stuff, but I do find it quite interesting. You know what I mean? Let's see. Drizella said, throw out all the grifts you got from your heathen friends to be sure. Throw out all the grifts you got from your heathen friends. Oh, I see. Yeah, all the gifts. I see. Because we're talking about that's right. Back to the thing this video is actually about, which is the demonic objects. And you're saying, like, if you throw out everything your non-Christian friends gave you, you don't know if they put demons in that stuff before they gave it to you, Even like a DVD, even a VeggieTales DVD could have a spell just in it somewhere, because it's invisible. All right, here you go. Thank you again for the 200 things. I am neither theist nor atheist. I am agnostic. That's why I only believe in extra-dimensional being as God. In any religion, not atheists and theists both have to come to my path for best. Okay, so you're saying that almost sounds like a deist of some sort, because you are using the word God, and you're saying that it's an extra-dimensional being as God. You already don't have evidence of those three things. You don't have evidence of an extra-dimensional being, right? You're inferring these things, again, because of just the way electromagnetic fields affect, was it photons or whatever, or neutron? I don't know. They affect something on a quantum level, right? And so you're inferring these things, but I guess, okay, so you're not like necessarily a theist, you're a deist, right? But I still feel like you're inferring more than is warranted based on the actual evidence. You're just making stuff up because of some effect that we don't necessarily have a perfect explanation for. But I think Ember's explanation is fucking solid. The way that we detect it is through electromagnetic fields, so it would affect those things. Have you not heard of this? Like, have you never heard this response to your argument, Satyam? Have you never heard that maybe it was the electromagnetic field that is causing the effect to happen? You've never heard that as a reason? Because I feel like we know electromagnetic fields exist, right? We do know that. We don't know though. We have confirmed that electromagnetic fields exist. See, here's how we got to do things. We got to base it on what are the odds. What do we know exists? We know electromagnetic fields exist, right? And we don't know that an interdimensional fucking being exists, right? We don't know that. So what's more likely, right, to be the case? Maybe the thing that we have confirmed that we know could possibly be the explanation for that effect that you're describing. Just saying, and then you're taking it back to like, oh, then this must have happened before the Big Bang, and it's just you're just making leaps upon leaps. But I mean, I appreciate that you're at least not like, oh no, I know exactly this God is the one that is the cause of the observer effect or whatever. I appreciate that you're at least that honest, but you're still inferring things and then acting as though we are being unreasonable for not just jumping exactly onto your train of thought, when again, we don't really have good evidence to suggest that you're right about any of this, especially when you're saying that like all quantum physics always leads scientists to believe in God. Because that's not true. I feel like I remember hearing this too. That was like some, what's that? Gaia. It was like some Gaia thing, right? When they're like, oh, all the quantum physicists all now believe in God because of the observer effect. Like it was some Gaia thing. And it was just like, that's not true. This is just grifter shit, this new age grifter shit. Anyway, Al said, whoa, Satya, you are redefining terms. Right. Yeah, and that's exactly. I mean, going from God to now it's this and something else. Yeah. And she said that's rather arrogant. And it is. Acting like something like that is when you don't have good reasons to think this type of stuff. You're just inferring it. Paul said, there is no evidence for other dimensions. And that is true too. Yeah. Is there's a lot of interesting theories that include like multiverse type stuff, but we don't have like really anything that I would consider conclusive. Al said, you believe in your own special God. That doesn't make you an agnostic. Well, I mean, he was making it so vague that, I mean, I think you're right because the way he's using the word God. But he's making it so vague. I am neither theist nor atheist. I am an agnostic. That's why I only believe in extra dimensional being as God. See, so you're actually right. My bad. I missed that. Al's right. Because he's saying I only believe in extra dimensional being as God. So you're literally just saying that you're agnostic, which means you don't know one way or the other, and have no opinion one way or the other. That's typically what people mean when they use the word agnostic, unless they're saying like agnostic next to like atheist or whatever, because it has to do with knowledge and not belief. But that doesn't seem like that's what you're doing right here. You're literally saying I'm agnostic. That's why I do believe a positive belief claim in an interdimensional or an extra dimensional being as God. So you do believe in a God. That's not agnostic. You're saying you're not saying you don't know if there's a God that exists. You're saying you do know that there's a God that exists, but it's just an extra dimensional being. That's deist. That's a deist position, I would say. Saying I do think that something created, and it does have to do with the Big Bang too, which is usually what deism is all about. But you're just saying you don't know which God it is, but you are calling it a God. Anyway, sorry. I'm getting stuck with that. Well, it's kind of fun though. I never really get to do the actual argument type stuff, so it's kind of fun. Usually we just have, just goof off around here, typically. But it's kind of fun, So I do actually got to start running though. But let me do like the last couple and then we'll wrap her up. Wolfo said that makes you a theist. A deist, to be exact, agnostic deist is one who doesn't have the knowledge but believes in a higher power without a strict definition. Right. So I feel like that would be, deist is what I was saying, right? Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Because it's like just some sort of thing that started everything. But it's very specific too, in that it does not interact with reality at all. So that is added into the definition there as well. Anyway, let me see here. Damn, we went a long time. Maybe I can do the long form stuff a little bit here and there. Maybe I could try to do that if I get some more time. I didn't think I'd be able to make it this long. I'm going to be completely honest, but it's working. All right. Let's see here. Wait. I'll try going. Saying this due to scientific studies of quantum physics. Yeah, but it's again, it seems like you're still inferring things. And I've heard scientists, people that actually have degrees in these fields, respond to what you're saying by saying this is an inference that isn't warranted by the evidence that it had to have been observed at the beginning of the Big Bang or whatever. We have no evidence of that. Anyway, let's see. Star Song said, I'm an atheist because I came to believe the God I was raised to believe in does not exist. As to any others, I have no reason to adopt a new one. Exactly. It's just that I have no good reason. It's just like I was saying about the teapot orbiting Mars. I don't necessarily have evidence that it doesn't exist because I don't even know how that could work. I don't even know how you could have evidence that would demonstrate, unless I could have cameras just all over Mars or whatever outside there going, look, no teapots orbiting. But I still don't have any reason to think one is out there, right? And if I don't have a good reason to think one is out there, then I don't have a good reason to believe in that claim, right? I can't necessarily say that I know for a fact that's not true, but I think it's very clear that it'd be unreasonable to believe that it is true. You understand? Anyway. This is just like the basics of just skepticism. You know what I mean? Andrew said, so do you understand quantum physics? Yeah, good question. Because I don't, the fact that they haven't provided a single source is kind of interesting. Cactus said, send them to me like pagan statue. Talking about the items. Yeah, the demonic item. Yeah, well, we're gonna have to make some demonic items for these people. Honestly, I actually kind of wanted to do that as a well, it'd be a grift. I mean, let's be real. I mean, they're making lots of money off grifts. I feel like I can do an anonymous one and just start selling little boxes. They're these little boxes, right? And you put like spell type stuff. Like I put a flower in there, right? Some herbs. You stick a feather, probably a feather in there. Something like maybe a tooth. If I can find a tooth, maybe like a piece of a chicken bone, something like that. Put all that stuff in there and be like, this is a demonic box. And if you leave it in someone's house that you don't like, or even on their property, then the demon will get them. The demon will go after them and get that person that you don't like. Because it's a spell box. It puts a spell on the property that it's on. But you got to keep it in your car. Don't because I don't want to confuse it, right? So make sure you get it on the person you don't like's property like right away. I bet you I could make tons of money off that. Okay, with how stupid everybody is. I'm just saying. Okay, I think we should start a business, the demon box business. Let's see here. So said, join the Discord. We have a place to debate. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, do you have can you get on Discord, man? That'd be cool. We have a debate spot. Because like I said, I really do appreciate the interaction and everything. I just don't believe that you're accurate on what you're saying, but I do actually like having these conversations. So if you want to jump in the Discord and head to the debate platform, and you can also post art that you make. You can also post the kind of music that you listen to. You can post all sorts of stuff. Not just the debate, but but we do like the debate too. So let's see here. Oh, and here's the Discord right here. So just click that link, and we can continue this conversation there. So Satyam said, Wolf, as I have seen many conflicts between theists and atheists. So I want to end. I will prove God as extra dimensional alien through quantum physics. Then both will be satisfied and become agnostic. Okay. That's one fuck of a goal, dude. I just I hope it works out, because I'm as curious as you are to figure out if that is true. And so if you could prove it, that'd be great. But as far as I can tell, it's an unfalsifiable claim. So I don't know how much good it'd do. But hey, try it, man. Let's do it. Oh my goodness. Okay, got another one. Okay, I have seen many conflicts. Oh, okay. See, you made that one. I kind of already read that, but yeah. But I'll read it again since you paid money for it. Theist and atheism. So I want to end. I will prove God as extra dimensional alien through quantum physics. Then both will be satisfied and become agnostic. Yeah. I mean, that would be great. Again, I would love it if that were going to be the case, but it seems like that's less likely to be what's going on here. uh Top Tester said he just crossed the Jesus's chicken line. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna have to. I'm just checking for any more super chats. Not gonna wrap it up. I'm getting exhausted here. Almost heading to 3 hours. I have not done that in forever. So, but you know what I have done in forever though? Sex stuff, with toys. So do it all the time, actually. So go to Adam and Eve if you want to. If you want to also be fun like me, go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brentley, and check out to get 50% off any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Let's go to adamandeve.com. You get almost 10 items for free, and one item 50% off. And they do have discreet packaging, and it's like I said, you get free shipping if you use this code. And they got tons and tons of really good stuff. As you can see here, lots of vibrators, gotta have those. But anything for any kink that you might like, there's just so much stuff. It's unbelievable. They can have a lot of fun having sex with the people that you want to have sex with, all consensually. I might add, please use these things consensually. That's very important. But go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brentley, Brently at checkout to get 50% off any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. That's right. And look, if you want to support the show in some other ways, I'm literally right now about to upload like 3 things. I got to do it to Patreon because I finally got some time to put them up. So I'm going to do that right now. So I have several things to get up there, but it's patreon.com/punkapostate. If you want to become a patron, head up there. I am going to be doing memberships here on YouTube pretty soon, but for the moment, we pretty much just got the super thanks, super chats, and super stickers, which are greatly appreciated. But another way that you can have some fun here is going and doing a one-time payment on Cash App. If you don't want to be, you don't want to have it come out of your account, like that, I totally understand. So go to Cash App, and our cash tag is punkapostate, all one word, and we greatly appreciate literally anything. And I'll give the a little shout out, kind of. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to dox anybody, but I will say there's a little for section that you can put in, and I'll read that, and we can talk about that. But other than that, you can always do super chats if you want to write a full message. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you all so much for hanging out. This is so much fun. I really do appreciate everybody spending their time hanging out with me in the morning like this, or in the afternoon, I guess, at this point. But the main thing, though, is to stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate. And we'll see you next time. Well, damn, I didn't see. Okay, so now I got 2 more super chats. Thank you so much, Satya, for hanging out. But yeah, let's head to the Discord so we can talk about it there. Okay. But I really do appreciate the super chats. Thank you so much. It's like right as I'm leaving, I see 2 more. Thanks again, man. Appreciate you.